The Tumblr Cup finals have come to an end. Ma Dongwang won the best of the match with a crushing position, led the K1 team to the league championship, but the subsequent award ceremony was closed from it. Jodia made a mess of the floating. Fortunately, the civilian player Old Bird made a move to quell the Jodia rebellion. So far, non-professional gamer Lao Bird has completely been on the hot search, has dominated the charts on major platforms for a long time. Take advantage of the heat. Li Yuyang started the live broadcast. This time, he didn't debut the leak. Instead, a solemn announcement was made. Any player who has been injured by a black-skinned Old Bird, all of them can come to Li Yuyang to receive compensation. Although the Old Bird was not him, but the formation of the black-skinned Old Bird. He is indeed partly responsible. As soon as this remark came out, the Old Bird washed white in an instant. What specializes in pit people? What means to rob people and wild monsters or something? It's all about rumors. Such a good anchor. Don't give it triple support. It's not human, isn't it? So the Old Bird became a hero in the eyes of all little quacks. Just when everyone is speculating about the next step of the Old Bird, when you want to tackle which advanced dungeon, located inside a coffee farm at the southern tip of the central continent. The farmer is shouting loudly, "You two are lazy. Believe it or not, Lao Tzu will dismiss you directly." Look closely. It was the Old Bird and the Dago cat who went to work. The two of them finished carrying the coffee tirelessly. Finally time to stop and drink some life potion. This map is so weird. Just basking in the sun will bleed. If you don't drink red potions, you can't hold up your blood at all. But I just rested for a while. The farmer came again with a whip. Why are you too lazy again? I'm really not self-motivated at all. Do you know how much you do? Just when will you be financially free? As soon as this remark came out, get a cat in a cold sweat. Good guy and NPC really put. I watched it myself. But it can't be helped. If you want to get the job done, you have to listen to them. That's how you got a cat to collect the coffee beans. It is fried at high temperature by Li Yuyang, then bagging in batches. Dry the whole process before going to get the coffee beans. Repeat the steps above. The essential. And the nasty guy behind him all the time. It made the dirt cat even more depressed. The two stinky boys really don't know what to do. I'm doing this for your own good. The faster you do it, the bigger the rewards. Just do it well. Lao Tzu will raise your wages for both of you. Look at the arrogant expression of the farmer. Dirk couldn't stand his meow. Lao Tzu has never seen any strong winds and waves. The leader of Rajaji. I don't dare to fart more in front of this cat. Then he pulled out his weapon. Can I shoot him with one shot? Li Yuyang hurriedly appeased him. Killing NPC is going to be roaring. Besides, we're going to finish this task in a moment. Let's talk about the reward after that. That's it. Dirk continued to swallow his breath in it. You say so much every day. Why did you choose this wonderful task? Li Yuyang grinned. The daily tasks are mostly the same. This is basically not done by anyone. No one told us about it. What's more, the rewards are still very generous. The bald head next door doesn't also do 100 push-ups a day. It's getting stronger. Just persuaded Dirk to go back to work. The water, and even the low-level mini-killer wind flew over. Bit directly on the neck of the Dirk cat. For a moment, the Dirk cat was like an electric shock. The whole person fell directly to the ground. It's like scaring Li Yuyang. The good guy really drank cold water and stuffed his teeth. Looks like you're really tired. I didn't even notice the approaching of this little monster. Then Li Yuyang. Understated, the murderous wind was hammered into scum. But the Dirk cat with the paralyzing effect can only lie on the ground, motionless. But the farmer quit. You're lying on the ground again, lazy. Why can't you hold up the wall like mud? This is a bit of chatter. Made Li Yuyang speechless. I don't know who wrote the program. How can you spray it so much? The appearance of these two farmers is not only underwhelming, also very foul-mouthed. No wonder no one has ever taken on this task. That's it. It took the two of them a whole day to complete the task. Dirk exhaled deeply. Daily quests are relatively low in difficulty, but it takes a lot of time, and it's boring. I'd rather fight the snake girl again. But Dirk smiled and did it for so long. The reward should be quite a lot. As soon as this remark came out, Li Yuyang was surprised. You don't even know what the reward is. Just follow me on the mission. As they spoke, the two received their mission rewards. Looking at the bag of coffee seeds in his hand, Dirk Cat was completely stunned. Is this another harvest of our day's work? Don't wait for the Dirk Cat to react. The farmer came over, spat at the bag in Dirk's hand. You're not too little. This is what we have given you in great mercy. Otherwise, according to your lazy look, it's going to be half that. After saying that, the two NPCs actually laughed wildly. Listen to the shrill laughter. In words that make the capitalist cry. The Dirk Cat is completely hairy. He really doesn't think of me as a human being. You have not been beaten by society. Li Yuyang doesn't care. It's not a picture anyway. But Dirk couldn't swallow it. Lend me that thing. Li Yuyang turned it over directly. You still have to play jungler with this psychological quality. It's just two little quacks. Pointing to the time when the two of them were spending freaks. Dirk Cat has already rushed up. I saw him waving the wooden stick in his hand towards the little quack. The body beckoned to the past. A stick is stronger than a stick. Look closely. Dirk Cat is wearing a strange mask on its face. This equipment is a plus-level vagabond mask. The biggest special effect is that it can replace the player. Immunity from punishment for homicide. Now the Dirk Cat completely let go. You're meowing. If it weren't for the network cable, my strength would have been limited. The dog planner also had to be beaten together. After speaking, Dirk kicked little quack in the face again. Look at this scene. Li Yuyang smiled slightly. This thing can't be killed. You've done this in vain. It turns out, it really can't be killed. The two little quacks have been beaten to the point of not being human. I was still panting, but this meal is not over. Didi Cat also set the coffee farm on fire, although known only computer people. But it's so cool to not be able to love it. Didi the cat grinned. Look at what you dogs are still doing to trick people. The two little quacks were lying on the ground, crying at the moment. It looks miserable. Li Yuyang drank coffee silently, and it didn't stand in the way. If it weren't for that reward, he wanted to destroy this place with his own hands. However, the coffee here does taste good. You may never be able to drink it again, because after the destruction of the ordinary map of the Supreme God, it will be restored in 24 hours, but it will never be seen again. The two sat on a hillside, summing up the day's gains. Dederma was completely speechless. It doesn't matter if it's experience or gold. None of them. I don't know why you're taking on this task. Hear this. Li Yuyang grinned. Don't you know what I'm doing with Laoli? The saying that suffering is a blessing does not work for me. Look at the bewildered eyes of the Dirk Cat. Li Yuyang raised his arm, revealing its crunch pit. Hear this. Dirk Cat unconsciously leaned in. Suddenly, a smell of the top came. It's really not a fox smell. It's a singular aroma of coffee. Xuanqi and Li Yuyang stood up and twisted their bodies. The taste of coffee is not just in the crunch nest. Now we have this smell all over our bodies. This is a special additional state. We've been working all day for this smell. Then Li Yuyang stretched out his palm. Follow my old birds. Wrap you up with 4 dishes and 1 soup. Deek Mao smiled and shook Li Yuyang's hand. Attaboy. I know that this task is not that simple. They were waiting for me here. So what are you waiting for? Premium replicas. Hidden rewards. Lao Tzu is here. Meanwhile, anomalous effects. A conference call for the Most High God is taking place. 9 veterans. There was a discussion about the last professional event. The guy with the number 01 was the first to speak. How should we regulate user behavior? And it doesn't affect the gaming experience. To be honest, the freedom of this game is too high. Hands-on supervision. It can shake the foundations of the game. How can players enjoy PvP? However, it does not affect the normal progress of the game. That's what we should be considering. Number 9 also took over the painting at this moment. Check our existing system is a red name punishment. There is also NPC malicious punishment. It is not possible to trade or receive rewards. These are already the highest penalties under the rules. But step up. It could really undermine the value of the game itself. As soon as this remark came out, everyone spoke. But this punishment, there is no way to limit those who kill willingly. They don't care about these things. How to protect the rights and interests of ordinary players is the most important problem we should solve. But really from the background, erase the data of the player who violated the rules. Words that are passed out. It's not good for us. Don't forget the first creed of freedom. Freedom is freedom, and what he meows is freedom. Only freedom. It is the eternal truth of this continent. Suddenly, a girl passed into the room. That's what you did in the Pro League Invasion event. The reason for not doing anything. I'm really convinced of you guys. You're free. What about us executioners? There is no authority to directly punish offenders. Not even special abilities. So what is the meaning of our existence? The one before was called Jodia. It's made a comeback. As far as I know, he was facing the southernmost murderer of the southern continent. Jital left. You all know what that means. If you're still sticking to that, the so-called theory of freedom, just waiting for him to destroy the whole game. Since you are not willing to modify the data, obliterate him in the background, let's acknowledge our existence. It was none other than Senna, the captain of the second team of the executioners, who spoke. Start today. Our executioner squad will enforce the rules. Whether it's the one called Jodia, or other players who break the rules, we'll dispose of them all. Let them understand. Freedom within the rules is true freedom. Several patriarchs were silent and did not speak. It was a tacit acquiescence to Captain Senna's request. This concludes the meeting. Congratulations on entering the rotting underground canal. Congratulations on becoming the first visitor. Li Yuyang held the weeping maw. Fragments of lion sculpture. Found it again, I think after rejecting Marion's invitation. Only then did the weeping Galadia hide mission begin. And this sculpture fragments. It was the item obtained by smashing Galadia. For this quest trip, Li Yuyang finally came to complete the task of the first season. He smiled and looked at Marion in front of him. I have done what you have told. Destroyed Galadia. There was silence. Not for a while. Marion's voice came from inside the statue to thank you. Dear old bird, I will give you a great reward. The voice fell. Marion's eyes glowed. Shot straight at Li Yuyang. Congratulations on getting the sculpting plus eye effect. This effect can last up to 24 hours. Li Yuyang suddenly felt a burst of excitement. Finally, this foreshadowing is needed. All the conditions are in place. Let's get started. The words of the exotic sculptor of coffee. The prerequisites are all in place. Li Yuyang took Dirk. The cat walks into a brand new copy. The ground here is very soft. If you don't keep moving, you might get stuck in it. Anyway, what kind of place is this? Li Yuyang walked in front to lead the way. Slowly explained. Beneath your feet is an ocean. Coaching. It is formed by suspended solids clumping together. Then I didn't forget to remind the Dirk cat to be careful. Hear this. Dirk grinned. With your strategy and the strength of the two of us, what else is there to be careful about? That's right. What is the level of the leader of our strategy this time? Li Yuyang looked into the distance. Speak lightly. This time it's the master of this tutor who is going to do it. The grade is S grade. Hear this level. Dirk cat was instantly dumbfounded. Directly engage in S class. You're sure you're not kidding? Welcome to tutoring level unknown. Here is actually a consist of islands and mountains. Composition of the area. It was covered with bones and minced meat. He is also a hidden dungeon. Li Yuyang in his previous life in order to accept Medusa's mission. Been here once, if memory serves. This black soil. In fact, it is the food and excrement that the leader eats leftovers. As soon as this remark came out, Dirk was speechless for a moment. This guy is really a veteran criminal. As he spoke, there was an unusual movement in the distance. It's like the sound of countless insects crawling. Look at the pit like an abyss. The two stopped. Do your best to stay where you are. Not for a while. Countless imminent death spiders crawled out of the ground. Surrounded them. Dirk Cat took out the furnace, which is a lot. I was able to this time. Suddenly, Li Yuyang, who was beside him, showed an expression of underbeating. Don't wait for the Dirk Cat to react. This guy took off straight on the spot. Keep squatting. Dirk Cat couldn't sit still for a moment, big brother. Everybody else is going to attack it. You're still doing radio gymnastics here. The voice fell. Countless lords of death have pounced. But strangely, with Li Yuyang's arms swinging, the group of little quacks actually stopped in place. Don't dare to approach. At this time, Li Yuyang shook his body even harder. Even the afterimage has dried up. See this? Dirk Cat's also reflected. This should be the effect of the aroma of coffee. There's really yours. 1 step counts as 10 steps. God didn't wait for Dirk to continue blowing rainbow farts. Li Yuyang has turned on the running mode. Seeing that the little monster next to him stepped forward again to block the way. Dirk grabbed the coffee beans and spilled them. This group of little quacks has just come into contact with coffee beans. Immediately retreated. In this way, the two of them walked and spread their arms. Gradually broke away from the encirclement of the monster group. Dirk asked curiously, "How do you know they hate the taste of coffee?" Li Yuyang grinned. "Dump the pot on the marketing account. Life tips taught me. I heard about preparing a ton of coffee beans. You can get rid of insects in your home. Very easy to use." The edge of the pit can already be seen ahead. The two of them leaped sharply, jumped straight into the pit. As the two continued to fall, the system prompt also popped up at the right time. Congratulations on entering the hidden dungeon. Tutoring the first visitor to the entrance to the kingdom of the old birds. Dirk Cat. Look at the monster corpses strewn across the walls. Dirk Cat sighed for a while. The king doesn't seem to be very friendly. Li Yuyang's voice also sounded from the side. The aroma of the coffee has dissipated. Let's do it next. Didn't wait for Li Yuyang to finish speaking. Dirk has stepped out. 1 step out of the ground and directly shattered. It's at this thrilling moment. Li Yuyang grabbed him from behind. Just wanted to remind you. The ground here is actually made of spider webs. A lot of places are traps. He looked at the tunnel below and continued. Below is the tunnel of the spider depression. If you stumble and fall in, I advise you to quit the game as soon as possible. Otherwise, you will be dragged deep into the tunnel by them. Taste the feeling of 100 test bodies. Look around. The tunnel is full of glasses. Countless 3-meter-long pearls of the Bagaji tunnel. Staring at the two humans. Dirk broke out in a cold sweat. So what do? You can't take 1 step and take 3 steps back. And it's not a good environment for combat. There is simply no room to dodge. As soon as the words fell, Li Yuyang touched the ground with his hand and closed his eyes. Look good. Learn my old bird skills well, but you can't do that. After that, Li Yuyang opened his eyes violently. The sculptor's eye emits an eerie glow. It came out of Li Yuyang's eyes. This skill, it is possible to predict whether the ground is hollow or not. Definitely the best skill to eliminate pitfalls. Not for a while. The number 2 suddenly lit up at the feet of the Dirk Cat. Li Yuyang stepped out of the ground without hesitation. Shine again. In his excited gaze, another big word lit up. Take a step and light up a number. What the hell are you doing? Li Yuyang did not open his mouth to explain. It's constantly jumping. As more and more numbers light up, the elder brother cat also seems to know the rules of the game. Isn't this meowing just Minesweeper? To play an RPG game, you have to be able to do some work. Otherwise, you won't even be able to get over the trap. I saw Li Yuyang. One meal was stunned and stepped out of the way. He yelled for the dirk to follow. The two rushed forward quickly. Now, behind him, a snow-white body had already caught up. A small gratin with a pattern. Dirk cat in order to stall for time. Bows and arrows are constantly placed backwards. Li Yuyang looked at the two twos and one in front of him. The sculptor has only one eye. Can only help the player turn a trap into a minesweeper. But there is no way to direct the command. Well, the player should go. There is only a 50% chance of getting it right. Li Yuyang couldn't be sure for a while. I had to activate the Dark King's traits. This skill, it can help players when choosing one or the other. Choose the best answer. Once upon a time when I was on the Blade battlefield, Li Yuyang used it once. Look again. At this moment, there is already a piece of ground next to two that lights up. That's the correct answer. But at this moment, the white pig mother has come to her. There was no way for the Teton cat to continue to retreat. Guess Li Yuyang's head for shooting. After the strong darkness, he dodged. Li Yuyang lowered his head. He aimed at me, I was shot in the head. In this way, the two escaped from the trap area. But the danger was not lifted. There are more little quacks waiting for them ahead. These are the iron spiders of Pigage. Length 5 meters. Because of the spider silk marks it spits out, it is like steel. Hence the name. Li Yuyang dodged the nets and shots, while reminding the dirk cat, pay attention to the sound of the nets. You can't get shot by them. They have a high attack power, and they're good at long-range attacks. We just need to avoid this wave of group clubs. Dirk grinned. As an archer, the flashing arm fingers are full. As soon as the words fell, the cheats of all the nets. There is also more and more spider silk left around. There is less and less space left for the two. Suddenly, there was a scene above his head, and Li Yuyang hurriedly looked up. I saw dense iron spider silk falling from the sky, as if to cut the two into scum. Now, there is no way to hide. Forced, Li Yuyang hurriedly grabbed the dirk cat. The two clung to each other. This made the dirk cat stun directly in place, just about to get rid of Li Yuyang's clutches. I only heard Li Yuyang shouting closer in his mouth. Hurry up and get closer. In this way, the two of them had direct zero contact. If it weren't for the conditions, they can scatter the flowers on the spot. Not for a while. Li Yuyang's surface began to shroud in stickiness. Thick liquid. Wrap up the dirk cat as well. Meanwhile, the webs fell, smashed directly on the two of them. But the weird thing is, the two of them cut through the gap in the net like loaches. I knew I could play like this. What progress skills did you just cost? Li Yuyang held the arm of the dirk cat with one hand. The two of them began to move together. No matter how dense the cobwebs, couldn't stop the two people who were coated with 2 tons of lubricating oil. They just paddled back and forth. Finally saw the exit. Drill in. The two of them actually got out of the narrow crack in the rock. Congratulations on entering the depths of the Royal Road of Counseling. The first visitor was the old bird dirk cat. The top 4 became silent. The spiders on the periphery didn't chase after them at all. Dirk cats hide in the dark. Hold the slave tightly in your hand. It's too dark here. I couldn't see where Li Yuyang had gone at all. The dirk cat didn't know the specifics. Don't dare to shout loudly. He had no choice but to slowly move his body forward. Suddenly, something strange came from the top of my head. It was as if a white shadow was drifting by. Dirk cat quickly looked up. I saw a woman with a white body hidden. Hide in the dark. This discovery made the dirk cat break out in a cold sweat. I didn't hear anything at all. How did he get here? Could this be the leader here? Dirk cat holds Xianglu. Don't take it lightly. But this harmless woman. Unexpectedly, he leaned over unsuspectingly. Is this Meow going to play with me? Dirk just wanted to get out of the way. I found that my body couldn't move. What the hell is going on? When did he put the skill? right in the panicked eyes of the dirt cat. White woman. As soon as it cracked, it was going to play kick and kick. The most important thing that can stand his aim is this. The dirt cat is still unable to move. I could only watch as the cracked monster stuck to it. At this critical juncture, Dirt Cat has finally taken back control of her body. Slash your hand over it. Took the opportunity to distance himself. By the way, I gave a gift to the other side. There were explosions all over the place. Tai Geely blew up close to the mouth of the spider yeast. Bomb him up and scream. Dirt grinned. Thank you for that beautiful expression. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to come to my senses. You say yes. Grade A spider yeast. At this moment, the leader has appeared in a circle. What about him with 8 legs? There's also a graceful figure just now. Even if it's a veteran old color. I don't know where to start. Suddenly, it was attacked by the nets. Surrounded the dirt cat in an instant. And the range of rotation is getting smaller and smaller. Spider yeast also took the opportunity to get close again. Just when the dirt cat didn't know how to cure it. Li Yuyang appeared. I saw him clutching coffee seeds. Don't try to throw the money out. Sprinkled directly on the yeast and the roots. Take advantage of this gap. Li Yuyang turned around and shouted. You still have lubricating mucus on you. Don't be afraid to get straight out of the pig net. Hear this? Dirt cat glanced down. Pig net's getting closer and closer. He saw the right moment. A sharp leap. Scratched out of the pig net. The spider called the mother and the son, who were still afraid of the taste of coffee. He did not come forward in pursuit. Li Yuyang and Dirt Cat also managed to get together, thanks to the sound of your iron gilly explosion. Otherwise, I wouldn't have found you. Dirk smiled slightly. Looks like I'm doing a pretty good job with this bait. This guy's physical defense doesn't feel very high. But on his paws, it seems that it can unleash short-range physical damage skills. That kind of cobweb is very extensive. It doesn't feel very easy to deal with. And as far as I can observe, this thing seems to be very resilient. If there is no way and fatal, we're probably going to be dragged to death here. Hear this? Li Yuyang grinned and was relieved. With my old bird, what are you afraid of? That kind of cobweb is actually very easy to hide. You just have to follow in my footsteps. I'll show you that later. Now the dirt cat is relieved. It's still an old bird. It's just a master of strategy. Between words, spider yeast had come to the two of them. The huge body carries an endless sense of oppression. Attack the two. Suddenly, the cyber attack came. Li Yuyang took advantage of the fact that the density of the pig net was not high enough. Hurley explained, these pig nets fly very fast though, but they follow a fixed run. The trajectory is repeated in a clockwise motion, and it increases in 0.5 seconds. As long as the pig net is launched, the running radius is 3 meters. I just need to move in his direction. Tracks are changed every 0.5 seconds. After detachment of 3 meters, there is no threat to these spiders. With that, a live demonstration was conducted. Sure enough, it is the same as Li Yuyang explained. He is skillful before and after. Left and right dodging cobwebs. Not a single hit was made. Dirt cats also draw scoops according to gourds, although not as skilled as Li Yuyang. But there will be no siege at all, seeing that the attack is ineffective. Spider yeast raised her hands. A magical light is appearing overhead. Countless spider silks squirted out. Surrounded by a great king formed in the sky. How to break the density of 2 people. Li Yuyang raised his head and stared at the large spider web carefully. Look at the spiders. The web is interspersed with iron spider silk like steel. He opened his mouth and laughed. The more this bluffing skill, the easier it is to dodge. We just need to give up resistance and lie flat. As he spoke, he took the dirt cat and drilled towards the center of the main net. You follow closely. This thing is like a tornado. Only the eye of the storm is the only way to live. As long as it deviates from the linear motion, it has to be cut into slag. Spider yeast didn't expect it either. How could these two humans be so cunning? I even know the flaws in my skills. Li Yuyang. The two of them smiled and looked at the spider yeast in the distance. Now you get it. A wide range of skills is just embroidery rash pain. The more it seems that there is no skill to dodge the space, the better it is to dodge. Otherwise, what would the game developer design it for? Dirt Cat is also very excited. I can't imagine it. Why didn't you even use your slime and escaped? What to do next? As soon as this remark came out, Li Yuyang instantly numbed fat. It's not the way to stop attacking. But this guy has a wide range of skills at his fingertips. The arena is also very narrow, even if it creates opportunities to get close. With the attack power of both of them, there's no way to set a second A-level spider yeast at all. While speaking, spider yeast scruples to do the same. Rushed up again, countless spider silk cages called the entire cavern. A frenzied storm covered the entire field. The two had no choice but to jump out of the cave. Stay out of the war for the time being. Li Yuyang raised his head and stared at the entrance of the cave. Silently pondered. Although he has 3 divine chi, he has infinite blood-sucking endurance. But this guy is too good at melee. The resilience is no less than the blood you suck. Neither is the Dirt Cat. What to do with that explosive profession now? Just when Li Yuyang was in trouble, Dirt Cat said, I actually have a solution, but I don't know if it's useful. Then he stared at the depths of the cavern as well. We're definitely not going to have a good time. This thing looks like a whole team, to be able to place a copy under it. But I've been messing around with you for a long time. I'm going to have to learn a trick or two. The two discuss for a moment. The Dirt Cat rushes down the burrow alone. Rely on the skills taught by the old birds. He dodged and moved, getting closer and closer to the leader. Look at the situation. It turned out to be a one-on-one posture with spider yeast. I saw the Dirt Cat flying up and down. Keep moving towards the spider yeast. Not to mention that the feeling is too exciting right now. Jean Deekmau couldn't help but lick his tongue. Seeing that the distance is sufficient, he slammed it, shook out a black mess. Spider yeast seized the projectile. Subconsciously, he hit it with iron wire. The mysterious object shattered in response, and semi-hollowing into slag. The sun rises in a while. Near yeast, flue full of dense black substance. The smell is the same as that of coffee beans. This scene made Li Yuyang look stupid. Isn't this to be on a coffee farm? Sure enough, those dense stuff. It is indeed a killer bee in a hurry. These gadgets are insignificant in front of the hand. But don't forget, they are creatures that live on coffee farms all year round. Originally, it smelled like a spider hated coffee. This family is also served. When did you get these things? Hear this question. Dirk grinned. This is a long story. When I was attacked by bees, in line with the principle that revenge does not distinguish between morning and evening, found their lair in a grove. The thought of this thing might come in handy later. I just put it in my inventory. But now it seems this group of guys is estimated to be large. The boss shouldn't be of much use. Indeed, the attack of this group of little guys. There's no way to break the boss's defenses. But the leader froze where he was and did not attack them. This made the little gaddas even more rampant, constantly nailing back and forth in spider yeast. The next spider yeast can't stand it anymore. It's an A-level boss anyway. How could it be possible for this group of little guys to constantly harass Iron? Silk shoots out from the spider's feet, runs through a large number of killer bees. However, the bees are too small. Spider silk kills too slowly. Spider yeast turned out to have its chest open. A huge hot pot erupted from it, solved countless small quacks in an instant. This scene made the Dirt Cat smile wryly. I thought it was a bee that smelled of coffee. It could be of some use. I didn't expect it to be wiped out so soon. But Li Yuyang doesn't think so. Don't underestimate them. If I'm not mistaken, in a previous life, there was a strategy that Tai Tai talked about these bees. Just take this bunch of little things, bring it to the spider yeast, Spider yeast will fall into a state of gluttony. It doesn't matter if the HP is exhausted or not. He would eat constantly. But after eating the crunchy taste of coffee, spider yeast will change, move on to the next stage. In this way, it will save him from killing him in the A-level state. Sure enough, the spider yeast's abdomen has not closed until now. His epidermis had begun to burst. That devastating force actually destroyed his own shell. After a while, the spider yeast was surrounded by flames. Wrap yourself in. This is the rhythm of metamorphosis. Wait until the upper body molt is over. A small gray-black Godao emerges from the shell. A plus grade of multifamily pearl yellow. This is the second form of the boss. If there were no bees, and the Duck River Dirt Cat must kill the spider yeast. To start the strategy, this guy, the multi-ethnic Zhu Huang, has a body length of 20 meters and the characteristics of poisonous insects to kill. He is also a natural multi-ethnic insect king. You can command 10,000 times. Emperor Zhu raised his head as a source of net profit, and there was no attack. Suddenly, he threw his head up and yelled. A shrill sound came out of his mouth. Nearby spiders heard it later. All agitated. Move quickly in the direction of the cave. It's over. The S-class you said earlier. It can't be this thing. But he is only A. Hurry. But the dirt cat turned his head to look. Li Yuyang has long been at a loss. Meanwhile, after summoning countless little quacks, Emperor Zhu stared at the people who entered Beijing. He hasn't fully metamorphosed at the moment. The legs didn't come out of their shells. You need to wait for the younger brother to supervise the two players. Suddenly, a shadow loomed behind him. A grumbling arm stretched out, slammed into Zhu Huang's head. It was Li Yuyang who disappeared. He, never the kind of person who waits for someone else to make a big move. Preemptive talent is the first element of the battle. Waiting for someone else to finish transforming is a fool's errand. This scene made Dirk the cat look stupid. Boss, he's A+. You have to think about it in the long run. Sure enough, Emperor Zhu became even angrier. The yellow leopard's voice came out of his mouth. Li Yuyang was also not greedy for merit, just with grief. 9981 slashes were made on Emperor Zhu's body. Only to jump down, Li Yuyang just landed on the ground. He shouted for Dirk Mayo to attack. Dirk Mao froze in place. Attack while he's out of his shell. Isn't it rude? And it's not fun to shoot a torch. Li Yuyang's voice came again. That's all there is to it. When an insect molts, it was when he was at his weakest. We're not going to kill him now. We're the ones who died. And Li Yuyang came to the side of the dirt cat. Again, this is the best way to raid this boss. His retreat from the enemy could not last long. And that group of little quacks is probably coming soon. We have to make the most of this time. Emperor Zhu seemed to understand Li Yuyang's words, gritted his teeth, and looked at this despicable human. Li Yuyang shouted, "Don't hesitate. This is not a rare opportunity." After speaking, he jumped towards Emperor Zhu. Come on, let me tell you. What the hell is called real burst damage? An A-class spider has already made Li Yuyang think hard. However, it has evolved into a multi-clan Pearl Emperor of the A+ level. But it made Li Yuyang excited, because now he is not completely transformed. It's a good opportunity to go all out. Dirt Cat takes the lead. Don't do it. Turned into a great bow. I saw him shoot 3 arrows at once. A huge jet of flame, sword god, straight towards Zhu Huang. For a while, the flames flew. Zhu Huang let out a terrible howl. Dirk said that it was not good to take advantage of people's danger. But there was no mercy in his hands. One arrow after another shot at Emperor Zhu. Not to mention that hitting a live target is cool. Zhu Huang's body kept leaning, and he was about to fall to the ground. Right now, he saw one more in his eyes. Something terrible. I saw the burning flames. A powerful arm is revealed. It was Li Yuyang who switched equipment. if it's spelled out. Of course, Ma Dongwang's equipment is the most suitable. Otherwise, you will only rely on the morning blade to cut it to the year of the monkey and the month of the horse. Seeing Dirk's cat, he was very energetic. Li Yuyang no longer hesitated. Leaped to his feet, authorized to hold it high and smash it on Emperor Zhu's head. Suspension effect activated. A loud explosion with high fire damage. It rang out from the field. Emperor Zhu was completely covered in it. Without waiting for him to launch a counterattack, the unmolted claw was thrust with an arrow. The so-called 10 fingers are connected to the heart. He has many claws, though, but it really hurts when I can't stand it. I saw Emperor Zhu looking up to the sky and roaring angrily. For a moment, the mournful shouts were deafening. See this scene? Li Yuyang was stunned. I can't imagine that the Dirk cat is really specialized. Shoot at someone's weak spot. Didn't you say that the good ones should have an open and honest duel? This kid is really different. But Lao Tzu likes your character. After speaking, Li Yuyang put his hands together. The left-handed one takes the lead. Poke the ground. Vortex and earthquake skills are activated together. The blazing flames were rushed towards the pearl yellow by the swirling veins. This time, Zhu Huang's body was completely enveloped in flames and burned. Even the surrounding stone walls were burned to pieces. Look at the sheer power. Dirk grinned at him. Meow. It makes me want to change jobs. I set up this ADC for a long time. Not as much damage as your combo hits. But this should be the end of the battle. Unexpectedly, Li Yuyang directly denied it. A+ boss. It can't be killed so easily. But count the damage. He probably didn't have much blood left. Li Yuyang, who was originally from, left a cold sweat. It's not this that's the tricky thing now. It's what we're facing. The words are not finished yet. The two of them remembered their previous time in the northern continent. Looking at the scene of 2 A+ dry racks, the air instantly froze. Anyway, this is the first time that we have a frontal hard steel. A plus little quack. It's a lot harder to fight than to watch. Suddenly, the ground began to tremble. A furious aura swept over the two of them. Dirk turned his head to look, hurriedly shouted to get out of the way. I saw countless iron spider silk falling from the sky. The two of them pounced on the speed. Li Yuyang rose up and down. Ro did not forget to remind Dirk Cat. Remember what I taught you earlier. Don't get hit by spider silk. Dirk Cat's apprentice also lived up to expectations. The feet shuttled between the pig silks. But he didn't notice. The real killer is coming. I saw one of the paws of the pig yellow. Hurry to the front of the Dirk Cat. It is impossible to hide from this trend. Li Yuyang looked up and didn't think much about this scene. The flames leaped from under his feet. Bend before a pig's foot pierces a Dirk Cat. Blocked the fatal blow of Apeless and the leader in front. It's not at all that Li Yuyang's defense can resist. Just listen to a hiss. The pig's foot went directly through Li Yuyang's abdomen. Dirk Cat saw this scene. Frightened, his mouth opened wide. Shouted Li Yuyang's name. And at this moment, Li Yuyang was not penetrated through his body. Just go offline and order takeout. Because he switched to a large outfit. The life-saving skill triggers during the heartbeat. Then he hurriedly activated the anti-armor skill. Intense black protrusion 4 reverse towards the Pearl Emperor stabbing training. Fortunately, Li Yuyang switched equipment in a timely manner. Otherwise, this is 1 division and 2 lives. Li Yuyang went offline. Gidge Cat definitely won't survive either. Well, they're copy this time. The strategy plan is in vain. Li Yuyang, who only had a drop of blood left, hurriedly took out a large bottle of life potion. Don't pour money into your mouth. See this. Didi Cat also hurriedly came up. Are you okay? It was really dangerous just now. Li Yuyang's heart is still beating wildly at the moment. When I used to kill these little quacks by stratagem, I didn't think they were that powerful. Now it's really tough. I realized that even if I was already level 50, It's not enough to see in front of this group of little quacks. Right now, Emperor Zhu had already come to the two of them. At this moment, he has completed the transformation of his lower body. The whole body, the root power of the gray and black beast towered in front of him. A heart-wrenching pressure swept in front of this fully constituted A+ leader. And the young dirt cat is like a little quack. He could only look up at Emperor Zhu, and his eyes were cold. There was a hint of mockery in his eyes. Invisibly, it seems to be saying that he meows. Wasn't it cool to fight just now? Now go on. Mr. Lu Jun said it well. Take advantage of his illness to kill him. The two of them were instantly furious. Pair output against the multi-poison Pearl Emperor. But in order to save the dirt cat, Li Yuyang's life-saving skills have been forced out. At this time, I can't withstand any attack from the leader. Look at the pearl yellow that has completely transformed. Where are the two going from here? Li Yuyang grinned. This is still a meow, and he still needs to think about it. Hurry up and call it amorous, he told Dirt Cat as he ran. This guy doesn't have much blood, and I've already hung a bleeding effect on him. We can just wait for time and win. Run after loading the fork. It's so. Suddenly, the pearl yellow multi-foot starts. Came to Li Yuyang in an instant. Pig's feet are stuck in the ground. There was a loud roar. Li Yuyang's bladder swept away. Jump here in a hurry, and the space is too small. There is simply no room to play. Then let Lao Tzu help you decorate. As soon as the words fell, the flame does not start. Li Yuyang changed into small boots. Flames do not turn the radius of trees into lava fields. And the flames are still spreading here. Force the chasing Zhu Huang back into the tree. The size of the pearl yellow is too large. There's no way to avoid magma completely. When a pig's foot accidentally steps into a hot flame, Empress Zhu gritted her teeth. He was aiming at two little fly-like quacks. If you have the ability, don't run. Li Yuyang is not a fool, who will die with the leader who is dying. However, the renovation has already begun. Then I might as well help you put a one-bedroom apartment. Let's change it to a luxurious flat. Calm counseling. Suddenly, there was a loud explosion. Look at it from afar. Huge amounts of dust were raised from the mountainside. The sycamore was blasted at a fixed point. Li Yuyang and Dirt Cat jumped from a hand-dug hole. The body is constantly declining. Only Emperor Zhu was left howling in the flames, due to the magma blocking the way. Zhu Huang couldn't continue the pursuit at all. The whole cave is like a melting pot. Burn the pork yellow on the outside and tender on the inside. Dirk scratched the scene. I couldn't help but sigh. This guy ran into an old bird. It's been 8 lifetimes of blood mold. But he was already at the end of the slavery. Have we cleared the customs this time? Unexpectedly, Li Yuyang's face was solemn. Stared straight ahead without saying a word. Meanwhile, the pearl yellow in the magma drooped down. The health bar is almost 0. The body is also full of cracks. But the flames around him were burning brighter and brighter. Li Yuyang also spies on luck. Because of the oil flowing from Emperor Zhu's body, it actually accelerated the burning of the flames. Let Emperor Zhu die faster. I thought I'd have to wait a little longer. Hear Li Yuyang's words. The Tidan cat couldn't help but be interested. You didn't say that it was S to be tackled at the beginning. Level leader. This guy is in a hurry. Is there another level after killing him? Of course not. We've reached the deepest part of counseling. This guy is the ultimate leader. But it didn't end so easily. Although I'm not quite sure either. But this guy probably isn't in its final form. As a matter of fact, Li Yuyang had only come here on a mission in his previous life. And I've read related strategy posts. Even the bees on the coffee farm didn't expect that. He had only heard of it. This spider boss can be purified to S rank. However, it is not clear that the purification conditions are present. If you want to fight, you will fight the hardest. Take the best. They waited silently. Not for a while. The pearl yellow body was completely burned to black charcoal. A crack on the ride is clearly audible. Wait until the flames are completely extinguished. Dirk, the cat, looked at the dark cave in amazement. A strange light lit up in his eyes. I saw that the pearl yellow and black body began to transform. The god in the common area he aimed at was Nyocha. Sure enough, there is no deception. A sound of laughter came from inside the cavern. Look again. The whole cave was no longer pitch black. Fluorescent scintillation. A slender body with an octagonal look. Reborn from the massive corpses of the emperors. That hurtful momentum. It's not the multi-ethnic emperors just now. It's comparable. Rumored. The more human-like monsters look, the stronger they are. And this body that has the appearance of a girl. How horrible it must be, although it is not known his specific attributes. But Li Yuyang can see this guy. He was aiming for the S expedited. Follow the old bird to dungeon fried fish. Unexpectedly blew up an S+ monster. Is there any reason for the hell to meow? Kyokun level S+, attribute insect undead. Incomplete morphology, size unknown. The ultimate form of the spider monster. His power was terrifying, comparable to the gods. Look at this unheard introduction. Dago Cat dumbfounded the old bird. Is this the S-class boss in your mouth? Did he mess with the wrong people? Li Yuyang is also fine in a cold sweat. According to the strategy, he can only evolve to the S rank. You see for yourself that the introduction is not completely morphic. It shows that he is not the norm now. Trust me, just rush past 100 seconds. He may have disappeared from this state. The voice fell. Kyokun froze. The 8 claws began to shake like steel balls. The sheer force shattered the surrounding bombardment. Li Yuyang and Dirk Cat hid in the distance and moved. Don't dare to move. Actually, the Supreme God is a game pod. Immerse yourself in the game. His own degree of freedom is ridiculously high. The current open-world game compares to him. Not even a little quack. This game is actually controlled by the brain. Whether it's a meat pudding or a big version iteration. It's all done by the brain after countless deductions. Only big events happen that can destroy the game. Only then will there be staff involved. The brain consists of a main brain and 17 subsystems. Distress is responsible for the central nervous system of the central world, and the other 17 branches is responsible for sustaining the world and creating new continents. Each of the 17 branches in the game also has its own entity. They are the 17 self-located in different corners of the world. Plus, standing at the top of the world like 17 gods. Perfect and unbeatable. Li Yuyang is so sure. Spider monsters can't be S+. Here's why. The people are not allowed. Monster. Autonomous evolution to the point where it threatens the balance of the game. All things considered. This guy in front of you. Most likely due to some special reasons. To get a bonus similar to the Berserk state. And the general bonus state. The duration of 100 seconds is about the same. Li Yuyang gritted his teeth and looked ahead. Just hold on for 100 seconds. The tricks I prepared will be useful. Actually, for this copy, he prepared countless backups. But think about it. There is only a means to deal with S-class monsters. It's true that there is no such thing as a S+ level monster. At least not yet. Without waiting for the two to act. Kyokun moved 8 claws again. It's like destroying a machine. Blow the whole terrain apart. This level of attack. It's no longer something that technology can compensate for. Indiscriminate wide area of high damage. Simply impeccable. Dirk smiled wryly as she stepped back. I'm not worried that we'll not last 100 seconds. I'm afraid that this island won't be able to hold up. Follow this destructive force? Estimated for another 20 seconds. We have to go offline with the counselor to order takeout. Li Yuyang also understands this truth. but they had to work so hard. I'll just hit here. If you die or quit, there is simply no second chance. Li Yuyang's face sank, and there was no way. Like Dirk the cat said, if nothing is done now, only care about running away and other counseling. The whole bomb god had nowhere to hide. Now we have to find a way to get him to stop, even if it's just for 10 seconds. Look around. In fact, the secondary knife has long been drowned in the sea of fire. There is really not much time left for Li Yuyang and the others. Suddenly the mana burns in. Li Yuyang shouted at the super cool Kuindeng. Dirk Cat hurriedly launched a counterattack. We got to fight, but it doesn't wait. The mana-burning attack fell on Kyulkun. Just a simple flick. Li Yuyang's feet were empty. The whole person fell to the ground. It's outrageous to be meowed. Strength is not a level at all. How the hell is going to fight this? Dirk is not doing well at the moment. There are fewer and fewer places to stay. He shouted and asked Li Yuyang, "What do we do now?" It's a direct surrender. Or wait to be killed and then surrender. Suddenly, Li Yuyang noticed that something was writhing in his arms. This is the great gift he prepared for the S-class leader. Didn't expect this gadget. I also reacted when I saw the big guy who was in a hurry for S. So what else is there to say? In Dekameo's surprise gaze, Li Yuyang came straight at him. Meet for cover. I'm going to open the maximum output cover. Give me a chance to get up close. Hear Li Yuyang's words. Dirk Cat's face was pale. Have you found a solution? Although Li Yuyang was in a cold sweat, but he smiled reluctantly. Trust me, as long as you keep him in check, we still have a chance. So what are you waiting for? As a shooter, except for you, I haven't served anyone else in terms of output. The voice fell. Li Yuyang began to accelerate and rush, heading towards the Kyulkun body. But the 8 claws had already locked onto him. An explosion rang out beside him. Li Yuyang gritted his teeth and jumped up. Right now. 4 powers descended from the sky. From this angle, Li Yuyang is difficult to fly. At this critical juncture, there was a sound of wind behind him. The roots of the trees saw that they were striking precisely on the claws. Li Yuyang continued to move forward without changing his face. This set of skillful coordination. I was stunned too. Good guys, you guys are tired of being crooked. Dare to take the initiative to come up. As he spoke, Deke Mao bent his bow again. His goal turned out to be Kyulkun as a whole. The history of the tree root ship exploded on Kyulkun's body. At this point, Kyulkun was completely furious. As the leader of the S-Urgency, it's not an exaggeration to say that it's the god of this game. I didn't see how he made a move at all. Li Zhao has come to the front. Time. Dekameo's figure was surrounded by flames. See this scene? Li Yuyang gritted his teeth and sprinted again. In the blink of an eye, they came to the Kyulkun realm. Shout! Li Yuyang had no choice but to make a desperate bet. His trick is actually specifically for S. The insect clan leader of the level prepares. But I didn't expect that guy to change around. It turned out to be a metamorphosis and became an S-Urgency. Under the cover of a Dirk Cat, Li Yuyang finally came to Kyulkun. He congratulated. Put your palms in your arms. Snapped out a little cutie. Gadgets just came out. He roared at Kyulkun for a season. Yes. This gadget. It was Li Yuyang who was in the Voodoo Bug Queen's lair before. Holes. In fact, the first visitor to the Witch Worm's lair was Jodia. I don't know what that guy used. Directly killed the Voodoo Queen. As an A-rank boss, the Voodoo Queen can't directly command insects, but it generates buns, can parasitize insects, turn insects into the Queen's puppets. It is one of the most difficult bosses to conquer, although it was preempted by that guy. But Yuyang still came here, because he has a more secret reward to take. Split the stones. Yuyang came to the lair of the Witch Pet Queen. The queen hatchling in front of him was exactly what he was targeting. The F class has the characteristics of selection and allocation. In the previous life, Jodia was called the god of calamity. It's because of that kid's perverted behavior. He was the first to discredit the supreme god. It's a pity that this copy is a voodoo lair. The most precious thing, I still let Li Yuyang get it. After this, Li Yuyang was even infected by this little guy. It became an attached small quack. However, in addition to the attribute mine, there is an additional apportionment feature. No other side effects were observed. This time, let's take a copy of the strategy tutorial. Li Yuyang's whole card is this little guy. With the little cutie's roar came out. Expedited Kyulkun. He had a frightened expression. Li Yuyang couldn't take his eyes off it. Staring at Kyulkun's reaction. He was actually very worried in his heart. The Queen of Solitude, though, has the ability to be a hollow worm. But the Queen hatchlings are only F-class at this time. If it's the Queen herself, needless to say, there must be a fight. But as a juvenile, facing the S-class, perhaps it can also rely on the suppression of racial talent. But it's really hard to say that S plus a few. Perhaps the only way to make Kyulkun stagnate is to count seconds. But I can't watch from the sidelines. Think about it so far. Li Yuyang took out the full set of trumpets. Thankfully, this time it was well prepared. Equipped the 2 numbers. It's all concentrated on the tuba. In fact, in the deep sea area of the North Continent, he and Dirt joined forces to worship the deep sea monster. After obtaining a lot of ancient materials, in order to participate in the Tumbler Finals, the equipment of King Ma Dong has been strengthened. Whether it's resistance or attack stats, it's a lot stronger than before. So he still has the power of a wave of Lao Tzu to target. As long as you can kill this guy. Lao Tzu flew directly on the spot. Li Yuyang congratulated. Rushed towards Kyulkun. The fists rained down. Fall on Kyulkun. Punch after punch. Fist of flesh. Li Yuyang gritted his teeth. After dozens of connections, Kyulkun's body slowly fell backwards. He also stopped attacking, staring at the front, because he doesn't know either whether physical attacks are useful or not. Just when Li Yuyang wanted to release his skills, Kyulkun moved. He simply raised his arm. Li Yuyang. It's like a little quack who has no resistance. The whole person flew upside down. Rush boss. It's really not that easy to deal with. Li Yuyang's body smashed to the ground. The power has not dissipated. He smashed through the ground, tumbling all the way. It ended up in the sea. This scene made the dirt cat look at the wooden characters like cracks. Meanwhile, the old bird's head was dizzy when it sank to the bottom of the sea. Luckily, the life-saving skill CD is good. Otherwise, it will be turned into slag and ashes. But not before he could catch his breath. There was a violent jolt on the surface of the water. It turned out to be Ku Leekin who shot again. He was shocked by the Queen's right body for a few seconds. At the moment, he is in a state of rage. Of course, we have to kill them all, seeing that Li Yuyang's body was still unable to move. But history has come. Money is at a critical juncture. A strange slight pressure fell from the sky. It was as if the space was frozen. Kyulkun also stopped the offensive, staring blankly at the sky. Li Yuyang, who keeps falling in the sea. Open your eyes too. Joy to the distance. The uneasiness in my heart grew stronger and stronger. Deke Mao looked up. The focus was shifted away from Li Yuyang's body. He looked at the top of his head with a look of incredulity. I saw that the sky instantly became dark. A vague figure descended from the sky, suspended in midair. Slender body. It seems to have endless power. Who are you? Why fight on my turf? Look around. I saw a man with a black and gold body. The knight looked down gloomily. Nameless Bexabu is the administrator of this continent. Noticed an anomaly today. I am here to make an inspection. Since you ignore the rules of the Supreme God, pushing the boundaries of the world without authorization, then don't blame me for being ruthless. Technology will be wiped out here. A mountain is not leveled and another one comes. What the hell is going on today? Is the big guy in the rush going to become a cabbage? Under the cold gaze of Beasksy, Kyokun's body began to tremble. As a guy for Esgaji, his glory is limited in time. Not for a while. Numerous cracks appeared on Kyokun's body. After a single 100 seconds of Bisei appearance. It's fleeting. Kyokun's body could no longer hold on. Turned into slag and scattered in the air. See this scene? Dirk grinned, and the time had finally come. Are we winning? But Yuyang was not so optimistic. He knew it was just beginning. After the complete dissipation of Kyokun, a system prompt pops up. Congratulations. Rewards begin to be distributed. Please leave your name. But look at the other one in the sky. Expedited big guy. Li Yuyang was in no mood to care about these things at all. This guy on top of his head, it's not something that Kyokun can compare. But why is he here? And who is his target? After all, as one of the 17 Grim Reaper, snort. It is a demon who rules over sickness and evil. The lord of the clan. How could it be easy to set a player? Li Yuyang broke out in a cold sweat. Thoughts are surging. Constantly searching for memories of past lives. Although the dungeon has already been taught. But if you die here, a single artifact or the equipment of King Madong. Drop one piece. It's not a result that you can afford to lose. Why should you come here? Li Yuyang couldn't help but open his mouth and asked. Hear this question? Don't make up for it. The color remains the same. Said lightly. At first I was just attracted by the smell of Kyokun. Check it out often. As soon as this remark came out, Li Yuyang's expression softened. Since the other party's target is Kaken, that's what it doesn't matter to my old bird. But don't make up for the next words. Let Li Yuyang feel dust in his heart again. I'm sure I've heard of it. A war between demons and dragons. It's about to start. I changed my mind when I came here. I want to win over Kyokun. As allies. His army of insects. It will be of great help to our demon legions. But since you have defeated him, then it's up to you to join our demon camp. I'm sure you won't refuse me either. That's a sound suggestion. Li Yuyang listened to Don't Make Up for It in a daze. In fact, among the commanding heights, every novice player comes out of the novice tower. The first thing to do is to choose a side. Dragons or demons. But after choosing a side, there's no way to go in and out of the other side at will. Forces of the territory, too. Old Bird as a PV master. Half of the quests are missing. Isn't he just going to pull the calf? So he didn't have a choice at the time. In fact, there are quite a few neutral players like him. In previous lives, there were also cases where players were invited. But Li Yuyang joined the Dragon Clan early in his previous life. The exact terms of the invitation are not clear. Look at Kyokun's expression before. Apparently, this Bexy catcher, the strength should be stronger. Actually, insect are a race. It has always been a neutral force among the most high gods, and does not belong to any party. If you really pull Kyokun into the demon clan, then the balance between the two sides will definitely be broken. Even if it's an S-class Spider Queen. You can also command millions of Zerg to go to war. 17 Grim Reapers. The two camps of the dragon and demon clans each account for 7. There are also 3 thorn gods who are neutral races. As an open world, the spine-level stabbing god is second only to the mastermind. His IQ is not low. Not only has the ability to learn independently, possess a unique and exclusive artifact. These beings are stronger than most players. But since I'm here to invite, then Li Yuyang is not nervous. But in his memory, there is no main plot of this paragraph. So it's really possible that it's because of his life. Interference with the game triggered a kind of butterfly effect. Changed the plot direction of the entire Supreme God. Right now, Bessie's voice came again. I don't know what you've thought about it. Actually, I'm more inclined to woo Kyokun. He has the ability to command all insects. Now it's because of you, little quack. Led to the disappearance of Kyokun. It's all your fault. So don't challenge my patience, or you'll regret it. The voice fell. Huge micropressure fell from the sky, straight from Li Yuyang. It's just a matter of momentum. It already made Li Yuyang's whole body tense. My legs even started to tremble involuntarily. This feeling is straight. Pick up. It is transmitted to the nerves through the body's sensing system. It's like there are many bugs crawling inside the body. Li Yuyang was unwell for blood pressure. Don't smile, Riley. That's the real S. The impact of the plus boss. Horses and Kyulkan before it. It's not a level at all. Is he really going to go offline to order takeout this time? But there is always a feeling of uneasiness in the heart of the sheep one day. Featured death punishment. Probably more than just a 3-day restriction on logins. Don't forget the large and small gear. It's all on this account now. Suddenly, Li Yuyang's bladder swept away. Discover Dekmao. He stood firmly in front of him, in the face of such a powerful enemy and physical discomfort. He turned out to be as steady as Mount Tai. What a reliable teammate. As everyone knows, Dejimo's eyes were white at this time. The fighting spirit has long been lost. He stood dumbfounded, motionless. Don't bully, and watch the performance of the two below. Touched his forehead. Have you figured it out? Kill my quasi-allies. Don't want me to let you go easily. If refused, I will punish you as the master of the demon clan. Your death is only the first step. Hear the threatening words of Bexi Valley. Li Yuyang smiled faintly. Is there any benefit to joining you? Before we even get started, we have to talk about welfare. Who do you think you're talking to? Just a little quack like you. If not, there is no better option. I'm not going to show up for you at all. There is only one path in front of you now. The voice fell. A system prompt pops up. The main quest opens. Start with one of the 7 major demon signs. The rotten demon king is examining you personally. In Li Yuyang's dull gaze. A selection panel was placed in front of Li Yuyang. Whether or not to join Basiyu's legion. This meow is not normal at all. Select the faction panel. At the beginning of the novice village. All that jumps out is to choose the demon or the dragon. Horses. It's a relatively normal choice in the game. Now he meows to agree. Directly became a small quack under the other west. The rejection of the racial selection dragged to the S. Expedited Kyulkan collapsed. Unexpectedly, it ushered in the persecution of Bexi Han again. Li Yuyang looked at the selection panel blankly. Isn't this say? If selected, after joining, the dragon region can't go by itself. That's a lot of copies. But the strength is not as good as others, so I have to bow my head. Li Yuyang had no choice but to activate the Dark King's skills. Trying to let the skills of the system help you make your choices. Who expected Li Yuyang to use no matter how hard he tried? The selection panel remains unchanged. But it was the first time he had encountered such a situation. Are both of these options the best option? Or all of them are the worst option? Watch Li Yuyang procrastinate there. Don't be a little more patient, and you're about to wear out the amount of the loan. What are you doing, boy? Do you really think Lao Tzu has to be you? Although the resurrection time of the multi-ethnic kings is relatively long. But Lao Tzu can't afford to wait. As soon as the words fell, Basiba directly took back the goblin. Look at the panel that disappears in front of your eyes. Li Yuyang was completely speechless. You're too anxious. Lao Tzu didn't say no, but you only get one chance. Beishibu no longer plans to recruit Li Yuyang. Lightning pumped from his body. The whole sky was lit up. See this scene? The back of Li Yuyang's head was hot. Although Li Yuyang's final goal is to dry up turn. Juggernaut all. Be the man who stands at the apex of PB1. But for him now, it's too early. Seeing that things are irreparable. Li Yuyang patted a dream. Good brother, you saw it too. Not for me. It's that he's too old. But as long as you follow my commands, it's not that there is no power to fight. Hear this. Dirtcat also reacted from the shock. Turn around and smile slightly. Lao Tzu is so excited that he can't sit still now. That's what you want. Afraid of someone who dies, and the bird is facing the sky. Immortal for thousands of years. Didn't wait for Li Yuyang to speak. Dirt cat face don't thin supplement. In his left hand, he holds a knife and a slave in his right. You say I do. This vote. We are definitely the #1 players of the Supreme God. See the domineering side of the dirt cat. Li Yu threatened to smile. It's my favorite teammate. Then do it. Li Yuyang put away his playful expression. Start thinking about the strategy. This time, it's a demon to face. One of the 7 masters of the clan. Whether it's stats or skill damage. Several parties can't compare with him. So want to defeat this fabulous NPC. He had to rely on the 3 artifacts he had gotten before. In the S-Class Wailing Blade. Vampire Ring. Has the Dark King's vampiric ability. It is the best choice for battery life. But look at the mighty in the sky. It is estimated that this equipment will not be of much use. If you eat a blow casually, you have to plan it right away. Vangia can be used to inflict the final blow. It doesn't matter if it's physical damage or magic damage. All armor can reflect 90% of the damage to the enemy. The lower the defense itself, the better the anti-damage effect. As for the most critical, such as Insect Crust, it is the most important skill to defeat a strong enemy. This effect can only be activated at full health. It is a great test of the player's awareness. And, of course, the continued bleeding of grief. 100% lubrication of passive and mucus. These are Li Yuyang's biggest reliance at present. But overall, the odds of victory are still low. But don't spell it. How can you know that you can't? Of course, it is better to develop peacefully. Come to think of it, Li Yuyang, shouting to the other West, can you not fight? We are 100% going to die. But it won't do you any good to kill us. Little quack of our rank. It doesn't offer much experience at all. Just when Li Yuyang was negotiating with other Western regions, there was a scene on the surface of the water beneath his feet. I don't know when. A huge monster approached quietly, rushing out of the sea, towards the nose of the northwest bird of the past. Bisai immediately took to the air to dodge. Look closely. It was an attack by a giant beast that reached the sky. A bastard who controls deworming. Dare to run rampant on the surface of the sea. Who the hell gave you the guts? Suddenly appeared. The behemoth is none other than the S-Rush Magma. Again, the property is unknown. Characteristics unknown. It is 55 meters long. He is one of the 7 masters of the Dragon faction. After learning about the little quack of the Demon Clan, after making a move, he came specifically to stop it. A war between dragons and demons is imminent. How could it be that the Demon Clan went over neutral forces at will? Seeing the plan exposed, don't inhale the quintessence of the country. One by one, all of them came to find fault. I really don't think I'm the master. All the meow for me to die. As soon as the words fell, don't draw the demon body. It turned out to be a giant fly. The 2 behemoths confronted each other like this. The Great War is on the verge of breaking out. Don't suck and capture. You have absolute air supremacy. The strange fairy Jomo Dima Chongshuan saw this. Get a presumptuous. The mouth is wide open and points in the direction of the battle. He had to say that. We've had a lot of luck. The sky was lightning and thundering. The sea was rolling with huge waves. It's like the end of the world. Let the officials have a basis. But all this, what does it have to do with Li Yuyang? Both of them. I had already taken the opportunity to find the wooden boat I was piloting when I came. The debris streaked into the distance. The reason why he was able to defeat the multi-clan Pearl Emperor this time. Or thanks to Basizi. But after the victory, they simply didn't have a chance to open the treasure chest. Fortunately, Li Yuyang had already made a mark. Wait for these 2 big guys to finish. Just find another time to pick it up. Deke Mao rowed the boat with a male and female. A look on the face of the aftermath of the catastrophe. Li Yuyang stood at the stern of the boat. The face is full of unwillingness, shouting at him into the distance. An artificial retarded person dares to bully Lao Tzu. It's all for Lao Tzu to wait. I served you all last night. If you can beat it, you can fight. If you can't beat it, you can steal it. If you can't steal, you can escape. I saw two urgent bosses beating each other. Li Yuyang completely broke off the idea of stealing his home. No matter how good the equipment is, you can't carry it. Raising your hand is a big move. Trolls of this kind often appear in anime. And monsters in the game, image, possess green skin and sharp teeth. It is characterized by stealing towers quickly. Strong melee attack ability. But I don't know when it started. Players will push those holes into their teammates. Described as a troll, commonly known as the Old Six, to deliberately harass other players' normal experience. For fun, spread 15 remarks against the wind. Teammates fight in a team, and he eats birds. Teammates output him to watch the play. When a teammate died, he taunted. He also said that his teammates were stupid forks. There are many such players among the high gods. But because of the purpose of the creation of the Most High God, it's freedom, so it doesn't take into account the feelings of novice players. As a result, many players have entered the pit in a hurry to fill the pit. So, make a unique onboarding video. Imminent. Listen to the little quack of the LGB company, introducing the contents of this collaboration. Li Yuyang fell into deep thought, seeing that the old bird did not have the strength to agree. Little quack continued, you know it too. One old six is destructive to the whole team. How big is it exactly? I'm also a fan of yours. So if you have to choose a streamer, let's do it. I very much hope it can be you. It can also take the opportunity to transform, become a moderator and coach. This will be of great benefit to your future development. So what do you think? Listen to very inflammatory language. Li Yuyang has no reason not to agree. Immediately, willing to create a better game ecosystem. Make your part. Reducing the old six is everyone's responsibility. As a two-chamber, the old birds are crawling and rolling in the supreme gods. Li Yuyang, more than anyone else, I hope that the Most High God can go to the better side, towards the supreme God who developed the past life to weaken. It has nothing to do with dog planning, but throw away those elements that can't be interfered with. The game environment is also an important factor. At this point, the Old Birds team was officially established. This team is determined to eliminate the sixth. The purpose of creating a harmonious game environment. Open recruitment of teammates on the official LGB website. As the Old Bird this million blogger leads, the recruitment post once topped the hot search. As a result, countless workers worked overtime all night. Handle a large number of registration forms. This time, let the little quack who recruited the Old Birds fall into a crash. Finally, among the many gamers, for small quacks were selected as the first batch of contestants. Little quack number 1. 3 novice players. Once had a pot in other games. Outstanding record of wine. Little Gaga, number 2, chubby supreme god, novice player. Although it is a novice among the supreme gods. But in almost 30 years of his youth, 20 of those years were dedicated to games. Now it's still a pit. No matter how simple the game, never cleared the level. Xiaogada no 3 Lician, Xiaogada no 4 Xiaofang. Each of these 4 has its own characteristics. Of course, they also have a common characteristic. That's all Old Birds. The 4 of them knew each other, just as the starting teammate of this live broadcast. Li Yuyang sat in front of the station with excitement on his face and gave a speech. Our goal this time is to wring the knees at the first level. In RPG games, fight monsters is the best choice to enhance strength. Of course, each monster has its own unique approach to strategy. All you have to do is follow me. I promise you'll all be S-class bosses in the future. After talking about 100 million sheep, He began to explain the strategy. Nozomi has a strong sense of smell, but the vision is very poor. We just need to sprinkle peppers on the combat area, then send someone to harass the monsters. Others will be able to output at full strength. Of course, when he charges us, don't try to use his movement to slow him down, because even if he turns a corner, it doesn't slow down movement speed either. Li Yuyang explained. Sprinkle chili powder on the ground on one side. Note the trajectory of these powders. Just don't step on it yourself. End of explanation. Li Yuyang looked at the 4 students. Have you all remembered? Unexpectedly, Zhang San was full of disdain. Who's going to think about that when you're fighting? If you can beat it, you can fight. If you can't beat the resurrection, keep fighting. It's too cumbersome to raid these things. Hear this. Li Yuyang's face was full of helplessness. Gadgets don't cost a few in-game coins, but it can increase the chance of success of the strategy. Without waiting for Li Yuyang to continue speaking, several other small quacks also commented. This time, by all means, can you do it this time? Teach us something exciting. For example, the hidden copy of your strategy and the like. Do you brush copies every inch? Do you have to remember the characteristics of monsters in everything? You have to check the strategy in advance. Play a game, and we may not remember at all. Where's the chili powder you sprinkled? Listen to the chatter of the 4 people. Li Yuyang's face was covered with cold sweat. He began to miss the hits he had met in the novice village. Robbery of 4 people. At least those guys have the perseverance. Farm slimes. Can brush tens of thousands. Remembered the bold words of the man named Zhang San in the live broadcast room. Zhuang. Li Yuyang still feels a little itchy between his feet. Hello everyone, my name is Zhang San. Zhang San's Zhang. Zhang San's 3. This time, follow the old bird for a beginner tutorial study. I'm just giving the anchor a face. Otherwise, with my strength, even if you don't wear gear, you can also kill 7 in and 8 out in front of the S-rank boss. In fact, in the next actual battle, Zhang San wears a set of novice gear, was directly tortured by the knee, under the action of the sensing system. The one who accepts the blood and the earth is called a truth. My name is Chubby. It's a handicap party. So this time, follow Brother Bird. Learn the basics of the game. I'm going to do my best. Keep up with Brother Bird's pace. Chubby's understanding of himself is very good. Immediate foot and knee movement is inherently not fast. But in front of Chubby, it's like driving a speed hanging. Let Chubby's skin have coped. Compare minus. 2 people are much more normal than 4. As a company executive, that's a kid player. However, there is no official recharge channel for the Supreme God. There is no such thing as a first charge of a large moon card and a small moon card. In addition, Li Si is more afraid of pain, even if the sensing system is turned to the minimum. This little quack is also afraid no. As for the small side, he came to play Supreme Pillow to experience the scenery. So in this game, the organ he uses the most is his glasses. Look at standing outside the training ground. Xiao Feng, who has not entered the venue for a long time. Li Yuyang couldn't help but remind Xiaoxi. Just blame me for a blow. Don't be afraid to give it a try. Who expected Li Yuyang not to say it, but it was okay. After saying that, Xiaofeng stepped back 5 centimeters again. Now that's interesting. All 4 trainees failed, and the sheep collapsed to the ground. How can this be played? It's hellish difficulty at the beginning. I might as well go back and meow. The 300 rounds of the best Jura battle of the S Festival. Are you sure these people are my big fans? It makes me want to fry noodles now. This man's front foot has just been taken from 2 S family level bosses. Escape in hand. Line? Someone came to the door when I ordered a takeout. Ask him to help train 4 old 6. The key is that these little quacks still have a character. Hit and can't fight. I didn't listen to what I said. This gave Li Yuyang a headache to death. I knew that it was so troublesome to make a newbie. Kill him, and he won't take this job. However, as a qualified streamer, Li Yuyang did not give up. He came to Little Quack, began to point out his flaws when he fought. You don't get obsessed with picking up loot. This game is not about you killing monsters. You can be sure to get rewards. When the reward is dropped in a place where it cannot be picked up, or when there are other monsters, you have to learn to be patient. In the game, stalls and vegetables are the original sin. Little Gaga, however, was unimpressed. What is the difference between fighting monsters and not picking up equipment and not fighting? I'm ready to eat the last layer of copy. No one can stop me from saying that it doesn't make sense. Li Yuyang changed his goals. Said to Chubby as a tank, you have to think about how you can withstand more damage, rather than spending the center of gravity on output. Please, if K doesn't come to the end, I'm going to be miserable all day. Here's Li C. Do you want to be bold enough to play the game? It's normal to have a little pain. It's not really going to die anyway. Who cooks the second swing of the arm? I'm just a tactical retreat. It's not really an escape. If teammates can't keep up, that's a problem with teammates. And Xiaofang, I know you don't like to fight monsters. Is wanted in this game. See the scenery from a higher level. Gotta get stronger. There are some areas that you can't go to at all. Hear this. Xiaofang pouted, I understand the reason. But it's too hard to get stronger. I don't have the guts to face an ugly monster. And I'm just a wet nurse. Stand farther away. Wouldn't it be better to protect yourself? Just let. Injured teammates can find me. I don't have to. Just leave these things to your teammates. Li Yuyang couldn't even break out in a cold sweat when he said this. He wasn't looking for his teammates at all. It's Hailuo. Players of the same level. There's simply no way to meet your needs. What you're lacking isn't combat awareness and equipment at all. It's a thigh. Speaking of thighs, Xiaofang's eyes instantly lit up with the old bird. Can you be my exclusive teammate? I promise to be obedient. Look at the live screen. The editor-in-chief of LGB was simply speechless. I didn't expect to choose from 1,000 choices. Actually chose 4 real old 6. A mahogany book that I have collaborated with the old bird once before. I also have a dry mouth. He tilted his head and took a sip of water. He had personally interviewed these people. Time was of the essence. Each person has only 3 minutes for the interview. Their personalities were not investigated at all. The editor-in-chief thinks it doesn't matter. This makes the show work better. I just don't know. How long will they be stuck in this link? And the old birds. What's next step is how to solve their problem. At this moment, the old bird is still in the mood to continue the live broadcast. He was too tired to aim. It's just that the oil and salt don't go in. Turning his head to look at the 4 little Gata who didn't care. Didn't wait for Li Yuyang to speak. Zhangsen actually squinted at it. See this look? Li Yuyang no longer hesitated. He held out his finger, and everyone noticed. I have a great idea. See this picture. Mahogany books and editor-in-chief offsite. It was also attracted to attention. I saw Li Yuyang's expressionless face. Without saying a word, he walked toward Xiaogata. A few of them actually want to give up at the moment. I thought I could follow the big anchor to mix the elite. It doesn't hurt to know your thighs. But they didn't plan to. Change your attitude towards the game. Seeing Li Yuyang's appearance. The 2 people outside the court also showed nervous expressions. Uncle Hong Ming knows Li Yuyang's temper. Throw away the side. He's actually quite hands-on. If you beat up a fan on the spot. Didn't wait for Uncle Hong Ming to continue thinking. I saw Li Yuyang gently pick it up. Said word by word. Since you're not interested in PV, then I'll teach you PK. This eliminates the need for teammates. You can also practice your gaming skills. Don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to teach you. Zhang San left a cold sweat or said goodbye. We're just here to learn the art of monster hunting. Since you can't teach us, that's it. Zhang San raised his hand. Added, who doesn't know that the king of horses is the first place in PK? It's just good at strategy dungeons. If I want to learn, I have to learn from Ma Dongwang. Now the mahogany book can't be calm at all. Who doesn't know that the old bird and King Ma Dong have a grudge? Back then, they were inseparable. These boys are really which pot can be opened. Editor-in-chief, Are you sure you don't block it? Who expected Li Yuyang to listen to it? Didn't get angry right away. Rather, there was a moment of silence. That's it. As long as the four of you can beat me, then it doesn't matter which dungeon you want to play in the future. I can help you for free. The items and equipment are all yours. In addition, I will give you equipment personally and help on props until you make it to the first echelon. This is a great opportunity to take one step to the top. Then Li Yuyang was afraid that they would refuse. I put another limit on myself. I'll also be wearing the same newbie gear as you guys. Let's have a fair PK. When Ching said this, a few little quacks froze in place. Then he didn't even bother with Li Yuyang anymore. They began to discuss together. Old birds, though, are famous knife baskets. But I just heard that this kid is lucky. Found a lot of good gear. I really haven't heard of him playing in ranking. And we're 4-1. You don't necessarily lose with the same equipment. And even if you lose, you don't have much to lose. Why not fight it? Li Si grinned. Fools don't do things that are sure to make money without losing money. We did it. Listen to the answers of 4 people. Li Yuyang immediately showed a harmless smile from humans and animals. That's great. Being able to fight you in person is what I look forward to the most. The editor-in-chief also clenched his fists. It's an old bird. It's too adaptable. 1 king against 4 bronzes. The effect of the show is simply full. It's the mahogany book that always feels weird. But I can't say what went wrong. According to the previous cooperation experience, old birds aren't like that. Someone who can create an entertainment effect. When the brave men knew the tower, this kid quit if he wanted to. Especially this smile. It's so kind that it makes people's hairs stand on end. What's the coolest? That's the 6th, of course. There's no teammate protection system here. I heard 4 little quacks promise to PK with themselves. Li Yuyang showed the brightest smile of this century. A dozen 4s are still so arrogant. Be careful of losing. Dongren said that Li Yuyang didn't care. He was not afraid of this. I just don't know the anger of the old bird. You can't stand it. Li Yuyang replaced it as quickly as possible. Newbie gear. To show fairness. He even wore only basic cloth armor. Everything is ready to go. Here we go. Hear this. A few little quacks were also very happy. What if it's done? If you take off your equipment, you can't turn the page. We're going to be famous this time. For bronze, but turned over a king. This is a lot of face. Li Yuyang heard a few small quacks. It's naive to grin. I'll show you what. The horror of the king of 1,000. He strode over to the little quacks. Without saying a word, he launched an attack directly. Wait until the figure disappears in place. Xiao Fong didn't even have time to react. I had a lot of cancer on my head for a season. Violent Suma dared to come overhead. He realized that he had been attacked. But the blow is not over. Li Yuyang ruthlessly cut it down again. It's just a moment's work. The nurse directly lost her combat effectiveness and collapsed to the ground. A support only thinks about relying on the protection of teammates. There is no consciousness of flesh at all. That's the price of waves. See this scene? Zhang San and Li Si's wide, open mouths. That's outrageous, isn't it? Holding the novice dagger and making a crispy second. In order to salvage the situation, Zhang San took the lead in the charge. Seeing the person Li Yuyang coming, he had a flash of inspiration. Throw out a few gold coins. Under the lure of money. Zhang San seemed to be sick. The body floated uncontrollably and threw itself on the ground. Again, this is the horror of superpowers. But he didn't wait for Zhang San to pick up the gold coin. Li Yuyang's attack has come. The long sword flashed and hit Xiao Quack 3 ways. With the sound of chickens flying and eggs beating, came out. Little Quack's expression instantly distorted. The pain was overwhelming. It hurts so much. This has to be said. Supreme God is a real feeling of this game. In the game, the original weaknesses of human beings have been vividly restored. Of course, if the limits of pain are exceeded, the system will force the player to go offline, so as not to cause more serious sequelae. That's why I don't let you pick it up right away. The reason for taking the loot. You figured it out now. Li Yuyang also hurriedly rushed up. If he doesn't go to class again, he will be wiped out, although he is afraid of death. But it's not stupid. The sword slashed quickly. Collapsed pheasant launched. Li Yuyang took half a step back. Kankin dodged the arc-shaped light. The right foot stumbles forward. The little quack is unstable. He took his sword and fell forward. Smashed directly on Zhang San's head. Excuse me. I didn't mean to. But Zhang San still has a chance to refute at this moment. This is really a double crit hit with a big head and a small head. Zhang San couldn't hold on any longer. The health bar drops directly below the danger line. Comes with the self-destruct effect on the equipment. Also triggered at this moment. Made Li Si also scorch on the outside and tender on the inside. Li Yuyang flew away quickly, while teaching loudly. Now you know the importance of positioning. There is no good move. How is it possible to hit a higher output? In a few moments he was already in front of the fat man. I saw my teammates fall to the ground one by one. The fat man was very nervous at the moment. Without waiting for Li Yuyang to continue to approach, the long sword hurriedly commanded. In vain he tried to stop Li Yuyang from being close to him. It's already limp hand. Directly let Li Yuyang grasp it in his hands. To output but not output. Meat without meat. Your tank is not up to par. The fat man couldn't believe his eyes. How exactly do you do it? But Li Yuyang's next move. Make the fat man even more desperate. I saw Li Yuyang's palm forced. Unexpectedly, the novice common thing was broken. Slow speed, low attack. You can do this by changing to a different pro. A piece of meat will always come out of the meat. What are you doing with all these bells and whistles? In fact, Li Yuyang was able to quickly suppress 4 people. Remove the operational factor. Also, because his own level is level 50. There are also many passive and active effects. Solving this group of little quacks is not easy to catch. Chubby has no weapons. Li Yuyang didn't get used to him. It's a crispy crust on top. The tank was kicked away in an instant. It's time to get out. Electrotherapy over there with 2 small quacks. It's also over. Why is it okay for the old bird to hit you just now? And if I hit you, I triggered the equipment's self-destruct passive. Zhang San is the worst one. His passivity, in fact, only when the HP is less than 30%, has a chance to trigger. The old bird's arrow didn't hit that much blood at all. Instead, Berry 4 made up for it. The tipping point was just reached. Just while the two were chatting, Li Yuyang was not idle. Common machine after machine, towards the door of the little quacks. Looking at the chubby, who fell to the ground, Li Yuyang stepped forward, a foot on his head. Little quacks. Now it's clear. It's not just monsters that are hard to fight. PK is not as simple as you think. To be the 6th child is to have the consciousness of being beaten. Can you listen to my beginner's tutorial now? What is an effective way to deal with the 6th? Bitter persuasion. Do you use your own high rank theory? It's not a dozen or 4 violent beatings. Beat them until they fell to their knees and begged for mercy. Hit them until they quacked. That's what really effective persuasion is. After the 4 little quacks were completely blessed, Li Yuyang, they chose to go offline together. Inside the studio, Li Yuyang looked at the beautiful 4 people with a smile on his face. Chubby took the lead in softness. I really believe in your technique this time. Even under the same conditions, you're so much better than us. And Chubby is still at the moment. Didn't come out of the headshot experience. Bowing his head and weeping bitterly. Li Yuyang's face sank, since you lost. Then you have to obey my arrangement. Take part in the special training I have prepared for you. The 4 little quacks didn't dare to make a mistake again. Chi brushed the nod like pounding garlic. See this scene? Li Yuyang showed a kind smile. But the next second, he shouted and grabbed the first step. Devil training begins. Don't get me wrong. This training, it refers to physical training for your real life. After all, under the game's sensing system, attributes of the person directly affects the in-game battles. Hear this. The courage of the four people collapsed again. In the game, no matter how you play it, it's no problem. If only it were trained in reality. You can't be tired. What's the matter? I want to regret it before I started. Don't. Don't you want to go to the supreme god again in your life? Little Gaga immediately looked sweaty and angry. We're going to do our best. Strive to be the most reliable teammate. Look at the scene in the studio. Uncle Mo clenched his little fists excitedly, which was great. They finally surrendered to the old bird's camp. The shell of the editor-in-chief shell. This direction is different from what we planned. But anyway, once the show came out more, instant fire, especially the video of the old bird blasting the four. The on-demand rate is as high as 32.1%. Countless comments poured in. It seems to touch the heartstrings of all players. This kind of old six really affects the game experience very much. Since the show is so popular, why not the second installment? You say yes. Looking at the smiling mahogany book, Li Yuyang directly refused. This kind of life-damaging thing is done less once than once. Lao Tzu will never take the sixth child again. Just let those little quacks fend for themselves. Add money, add a lot of money. Then I'll think about it. Solve the LGB thing. Li Yuyang. It's finally time to continue exploring the new map. North. Huge sinkholes towered over the empty sky. Look at this magnificent scene. Dirk's mouth opened wide in surprise. How did such a large pit come to be? Li Yuyang's voice came from below. This was actually a mining site in the past. Players can also mine in exchange for gold. But I don't know when it started. The mine is closed. Closed, only this big pit is still here. It's actually called Abyss Dock. Consists of a vertical sinkhole. The reasons for this are not clear. But since the supreme divine realm, it's always been here. The sinkhole is 2 kilometers deep. If the player stumbles and falls, they will surely die. And Li Yuyang brought the dirt cat here to the target. It is the last of the 3 phantom gods. The demon on the bottom of the North Continent is the first. Hide the boss. Zhu Huang from the counseling center is the second one. Today they came looking for it. It's the third one that doesn't belong to the 2 of them. Look at the vast map in front of you. Li Yuyang crossed his waist and suddenly became ambitious. Just step into the depths of the sinkhole to find the legendary boss. Kill him. We are the first person of the supreme god. The materials for the 3 gods are all in order. The next step is to finish without waiting for Li Yuyang to finish. Dirk smiled like an ant. I understand and believe everything you say. But why are you carrying such a big burden? Is it because the props can't be put down? Hear this. Li Yuyang skimmed the large package to the ground. You don't care about that. It's a secret weapon. Without them, we wouldn't have survived. See in hand. Sure enough, he waved the top hanging in his mouth. Dirk Cat looked down uneasily. Why not enter it from the wilderness? It's too dangerous, isn't it? I don't know this path. It's the easiest way to the abyss. This map is a premium map. The monsters that haunt the wilderness are also B rank on horseback. Even if it's an A-class desert worm. Here too, there are crowds. If the 2 of them really made it through the wilderness, it is estimated that I will have to go offline to order takeout immediately. 2 hours passed. The 2 of them are not yet in the end, but it was already close to the forest below. Watch the cliffs grow. Li Yuyang hurriedly explained. These plants have adapted to grow vertically. We're going to have to take advantage of these cuties. It's time to speed up the landing. After speaking, Li Yuyang let go of his hands. The whole person fell downward. Don't know if you're good at parkour. Now it's time to put your jumping skills to the test. Dirk Katz followed, with a smile on his face. Rest assured, as a qualified archer, turn over. Jumping with your eyes closed is just a basic operation. For a moment, the 2 of them fell into the vertically growing woods. with the body suspended in the air. Li Yuyang took out the last time. The equipment you got in the Zhu Huang dungeon. A cloud of spider silk shot out of his palm. With a pop, spider silk is tied to the trunk of a tree. Li Yuyang couldn't concoct the ripples of blood. In the middle of dense woods. See this at a glance. Dirk grinning is really full of tricks. He's cleaner. Look at the target, half sniper with both legs. Take another leap. Jump from one tree to another. The falling speed was not at all comparable to Li Yuyang. In this way, the two of them have their own powers. Towards the bottom of the sinkhole. Look at this magnificent scene. Even if it is the well-informed Li Yuyang, I can't help but feel surging. After secretly going back and picking up the treasure chest that defeated the Pearl Emperor. After that, Li Yuyang embarked on the journey again. The goal of this strategy is the last body of the 3 phantom gods. After jumping off a 2-kilometer sinkhole, Li Yuyang and Dirk Cat are constantly in the woods. The vine turns. I saw the ground getting closer and closer. Dirk couldn't help but smile. Who said to follow the old birds? I was hungry for 9 meals in 3 days. This kind of place can also be found by old birds. 1 foot on the ground. George finally won the old birdie for once. Successfully won the first place. At this moment, Li Yuyang is still using the floating balloon. Floats slowly in midair. Don't wait for the Dirk Cat to continue to get excited. The guy who appeared in front of him made him shut up. Mouth! I saw a lump of arrangement that was a ghost fire of a nuclear species. Standing at the bottom of the sinkhole. Welcome, adventurers. I don't know if it's the first time you've been here. This fire is exactly 108 troubles, fire spirits, etc. Other properties are unknown. His shape and size depend on his mood. See this guy. Dirk Cat excitedly pulled out his weapon. It's time to do it again. This time it's just an A+ grade. It's definitely a good idea. But not waiting for the Dirk Cat to attack. Li Yuyang has already come up. Hello. My name is Old Bird. You can also call me Xiao Ming. Please, Jungle, I know you too. A combination of an old bird and a Dirk Cat. So, what are you here for? Didn't wait for Li Yuyang to answer. Dirk Cat was curious. How did you know about us? It's our first time here. Li Yuyang explained with a smile. Actually, when we raided the dungeon, this guy's always been there. Now the Dirk Cat is even more confused. Haven't we always been 2 people? When did a third party come? Xiaohua smiled and explained. That's right too. This is the first time we have met in the true sense of the word. It's also normal that you don't know me. As soon as the words fell, the small flame actually made a system prompt sound. Congratulations on becoming your first player. Please register your name. The voice was all too familiar. It's not a monster. It's an NPC. Li Yuyang already knew the truth. He is the leader of the power of time and space. It is also the NPC responsible for recording hand-killed players. The Supreme God is unlike any other game. NPC is not invincible and unkillable. Just like before on a coffee farm. Some maps and NPCs are not even respawnable. This guy, it's a character somewhere between a monster and an NPC. If you don't attack first, he's a kind and harmless NPC. Of course, if you are the first to cut the land hostile and attack, then he has space and time. A of power. Boss plus. Since the old bird has created a copy countless times. Hand brush recording. I've long established a high friendship with this guy. Good so old birds. Would you like to help me with a trouble? The system prompt also popped up at this moment. Congratulations. Discovered the hidden quest troubled by the fire spirit. Mission objective. Help the fire spirit deal with difficult travelers. This task left the Dirk Cat with a confused face. What is a difficult traveler? Do you want us to go into the wilderness and look for it? Other little quacks. Not really. On this continent, in addition to being in charge of recording the fire spirit is in charge of recording. He also has the ability to fix. For example, the traces left by the battle. There are also various destructive terrains. Fix the terrain. Now the dirt cat is even more confused. I can still help if I fight, but I'm not good at repairing terrain. Just listen to the fire spirit continue to explain the broken terrain. Nothing but specific that can't be repaired. I can fix it all within 24 hours. But in the process of restoration, there is a chance that you will encounter other little gada to break through. Then it will delay my restoration work. Like this sinkhole. Also one of my remediation goals. Here. The old bird suddenly realized. No wonder this sinkhole has always existed. It turns out that this is specially left. The objective of the mission that the player completes. Of course, the intruder. If it's a normal creature or a player, I can all harness the power of time and space to transfer them. But in the process, I'm in trouble that I can't solve. The creature is immobile and cannot be repelled. It's not very common. The strength of the fruit forest itself is extremely strong. Existence as a plus grade. Ordinary creatures are no opponent at all. And he has the Lord, God-given power for part of space and time. But the creatures encountered this time were too special. The fire spirit has tried everything. Couldn't get him to move. And it is set according to the rules. Fire spirits can't attack other creatures directly, unless another mob attacks first. This is the awkward situation that has been created right now. So he has been waiting for someone in the sinkhole. Li Yuyang and Dirtcat. Quietly listen to the introduction of the plot mission. That should be the point right now. The guy was sleeping at the bottom of the sinkhole. In the center of the toroidal terrain, he curled up on the ground and fell into a deep sleep. I need you to wake him up and let him sleep on other intact terrain so that I can restore this topographic map. The face of coming. So would you like to accept this task? Quiet. In fact, there is a sentence that has been in my heart for a long time. I haven't told you all the time. Now I'm out of the way. Look at the sleeping angel. The little girl Hua Ling was full of helplessness for so many years. I tried everything I could to wake him up. It's because of him. I can't fix this map. Here, mission information. Only then did the dirt cat react. We're not here to provide wake-up calls. Then act as a black car driver to take him out of here. In simple terms, it does. But this task, it's not as simple as it seems. This girl is an angel clan. In the game's backstory, they were also the rulers of this world before. One of them is the giants, elves and demons. Dragons rule the continent together. But after several wars, they are said to be extinct. But Mao didn't care so much. What's the backstory? In addition to Li Yuyang, who is so senior, game fans will watch it. Most people skip it. Okay. He grabbed the little girl's foot with both hands. Lift it up. But this weight is not at all what a height of 1.3 meters has. Even the gas canister isn't that heavy. Clearly, this approach will not work. Mao gasped and chose to give up. Old bird, you kid, move. How are we going to accomplish this? Li Yuyang grinned and said something anxious. I'm going to bring you here. There must be a way to get the job done. And don't forget, the one next to us is an A-class being. How is it possible to complete the task so easily? The fruit forest also supplemented the follow-up conditions at this moment. You need to find a level 1 player to wake up the girl on the ground. A player with a level 1 level. Isn't this? This area, even a level 50 player like us has to go. Clamp your tail and be a man. How could a first-class one come here? Dirt Cat was so angry that it was about to explode. But Li Yuyang smiled calmly. Lao Tzu has known this condition for a long time. I really thought the old bird was a rookie. Rest assured, there is no such thing as an impossible task in my hands. Chun Ching said. Dirk the cat kept its mouth shut. But I still can't figure it out. How can you bring a level 1 player here, even if they immediately go back to the city and go offline? Then find some friends who haven't played the Most High God. Register a new role. But I can't make it this alive. Even if it's a slime on the ground, can easily solve them. Not to mention the A-class monsters that go deep into the desert. Suddenly, Li Yuyang took out the big package again. Do you? Are there any items that can be used to avoid the mission conditions? Li Yuyang gently patted the applauded package. Why avoid such mission conditions? It's easier for me. And this thing. But I bought the props at the trading house. Traveler's pockets cannot be placed in the inventory. Anything can be transported. Then Li Yuyang covered his mouth. The mysterious face of the god towards the pocket. A few words to myself. After a while, Li Yuyang raised his head. Excitedly shouting, "Will let you take a look. I've got a surprise in store." With the pocket open, a pretty figure walked out of it. Also known as Xiao Jing. Level 1 Terran came out. It was Li Yuyang's junior high school classmate Ian Jing. A day ago, thanks to Li Yuyang's help, Ian Jing's live broadcast, Bringing Goods, is now in full swing. You can even see him on TV. Endorsement of advertising. See old acquaintances. Li Yuyang only determined the candidate for this copy. Inside the shopping street, Ian quietly noticed Li coming from a distance. Yuyang looked at the smiling old classmate. Li Yuyang learned from his endorsement advertisements on TV. Teased. Worthy of a 24K purebred straight man. Even if it does it to millions of bloggers. Still can't hide the breath of sand sculptures. The two found a quiet cafe. Sit down. Ian is in love with Jiao Weihong. I couldn't help but explain. The reason for the strange dance in the advertisement. It is also the request of Party A's father. So don't laugh at me. I think it's a nice dance. Very youthful and energetic. Here Li Yuyang's evaluation. Ian Jing was even more embarrassed. Don't talk about me. How have you been doing lately? Li Yuyang drank milk tea blandly. What else could he do? Play every day. But there's a favor I need your help with lately. Ian smiled sweetly. What are you busy? Just say. I'll help. See this scene? Li Yuyang tilted his head and was relieved. A small favor. And it's very simple. After listening to what Li Yuyang said, Ian Jing immediately stopped calming. Happy and dashing. He couldn't even figure it out. It is possible to play the Supreme God. This kind of large-scale AAA game. But he didn't wait for Li Yuyang to continue to explain. Ian changed his style. I don't think it matters what you do. As long as I'm with you, I'm happy. That's why Ian came in. But the most important thing is this wrapping prop. It can hold everything. There is a limit to the quantity, and cannot be included in the inventory. So it seems, simply, it's an item that exists specifically for this task. Ian stroked her hair, looking around excitedly. It was his first time playing the Most High God. It feels very real. It's literally immersive. See this scene? Dirk Mao froze where he was. I couldn't take my eyes off him anymore. What is the most bullish nail household? Is that so? Still so. Not really. A 2-kilometer deep pit was smashed out at once. And then he didn't leave. Leave the developer powerless. This is the real nail household. To help the fire spirit fix the map, Li Yang came up with a killer idea. Positive Ian Jing. The sweet and pure Ian Jing just appeared. Just look stupid at Gijcat. Li Yuyang's house is in the middle. Hurriedly introduced. This is my good brother in the game, Dirk the Cat. Didn't wait for Li Yuyang to introduce himself. Ian Jing smiled slightly. My name is Ian Jing. Is Li Yuyang's junior high school classmate. Nice to meet you. It's a cat's claw. Stammered hello. Then the two of you say a sentence to me. Gradually, the number fell. Li Yuyang opened the scene with great interest. As a game nerd, meet new people. But it's a process that goes from embarrassing to more embarrassing. Look at this brilliant sky. Ian Jing couldn't believe her eyes. I knew it was so beautiful. What kind of fun am I having? Hear this. Li Yuyang also grinned at the normal first-level play. You can't see that at home. You may be ever. The first level is the one who ran to the western continent. Einjing didn't know if it was okay or not. I understand what you're saying. I just don't understand why you don't get dressed. Li Yuyang, who was still full of sorrow just now, momentarily stunned. He aimed at turning so hard. If I say, the premise of this game is that the higher the level, the less clothes. Can you believe it? Analecta. Li Yuyang began to talk nonsense in a serious way. You've probably seen the game's trailer too. That female, full-level boss is not a lot of clothes. So clothes are inversely proportional to grade. It's because I'm too high level. That's why there are too few clothes. I heard Li Yuyang talking nonsense here. Dirk couldn't help but roll her eyes. If it weren't for the fact that the two of them knew each other too well, he couldn't help but tear down the stage on the spot. How can there be such a handle? Okay, now it's time to get down to business. Just do what I told you before. One of them looked cautiously at the angel on the ground. Little Lori touched, but as soon as I got closer, his hands glowed with gold. This scene frightened him. If it weren't for Li Yuyang to explain, he had long since stopped moving. With more and more golden light, the little girl showed signs of waking up. Suddenly, the conditions are met. Trying to reconnect, the little girl's whole body began to glow. See this scene? Li Yuyang felt in his heart that the pine fish was about to start. I saw a pillar of light rise into the sky, pierce the clouds and soar. This powerful energy, it even lit up the entire sky. A moment passed. A system prompt pops up. Angel Girl and Little Quiet are merging. After a while, an aperture appeared in midair. Angel Girl did it. His name is Mainland. It's an angel Little Lori. Because of some kind of change, it's still frustrated. Midstamina looked at his hands. My face was full of wonders what was wrong with me, where I am now. But after seeing Li Yuyang, the little angel instantly became excited. You look. I've actually gotten smaller. It's also incredible. Listen to what this means. The other party turned out to be Einjing now. It's also amazing. An NPC actually fused with the player. Old bird, you kid really know a lot. That's right, it's right now. A system prompt pops up. The hidden mission has been completed. The intimacy with the fire spirits is increasing dramatically. Thank you so much. I can finally start repairing the abyss dock. Li Yuyang grinned. Hide the end of the mission. That's where this adventure begins. As long as there is the guidance of the angel little girl. Wrong. Now it should be said that as long as there is Ian Jing's guidance. 3. A change of spirit is not far off. The monster beast and the old bird's bird was actually hit by a critical attack. Who is so bold as to hold Li Yuyang's head? After the fusion of Einjing and the little angel, a lot of video footage instantly appeared in my mind. It should be the memories of the angel before he came here. At this moment, the little angel is like a magic stick. Pinch fingers to watch the video. These memories are a bit fragmentary. There's no way to tell the ins and outs. But they are now selected into a new hidden mission. I have to help him regain his memory. Send back home to complete the mission. As Einjing kept watching, finally found useful information. I saw him coming from above the clouds, falling from the sky. Hear the word sky. Li Yuyang was puzzled. Can you see the exact direction? And there is no specific location. But I can see the general direction. That's enough. Li Yuyang grinned. Let's get started. But they didn't wait for them to set off. A system prompt pops up. Congratulations on completing the hidden mission. You are the first player to complete this quest. Will be recorded on the side. The sound of the fire bell also rang next to it. Thank you. I can finally start repairing the abyss dock. So now don't wait for the fire bell to finish. There was a heavy pant behind him. Not for a while. A short-haired girl climbed up. Hello. Excuse me. Are you an anchor, old bird? It's time to see Li Yuyang's appearance clearly. The girl was instantly excited, and she was really an old bird. I'm a 10-year-old fan of yours. From the moment you posted your first video, I'm starting to pay attention to you. Hear this? Li Yuyang was stunned. His Meow Lao Tzu even has female fans. It's not going to be a trumpet fan to take revenge. Just when Li Yuyang was stunned, Dirk Cat and Irin Jing are stealing. Whispered, "Is this girl really a fan of Old Bird? Has she been popular in the game?" Ignore the ridicule of the two. Li Yuyang walked towards the girl with a kind face. "I'm an Old Bird. We're doing hidden missions right now. This place is going to be impossible to stay in right away. So you want to sign the words? I'll be able to give it to you right now." The girl hurriedly returned with a skillful clamp. "It's okay. I won't delay you for long. After all, you're going to have to go offline and order takeout soon." Hear this? Li Yuyang didn't react for a while, but the glittering scythe brought him back to reality. Not to mention fried noodles. This fan is going to fire himself. The huge slammed into the ground. A powerful force kicks up a cloud of dust. Li Yuyang looked at it and jumped away. See this scene? The girl grinned. "It's still a clip sound. It's not slow. I just don't know how many times you can dodge." As soon as the words fell, the girl seemed to have a drop of blood, arms waving. The huge axe was like nothing. Li Yuyang could only keep dodging. There was simply no time to unfold. Counterattack, but the frequency of the opponent's attacks is too high. Li Yuyang was careless. The left arm was slashed in an instant. The girl's strength is also too great. Visually, it is higher than the strength of King Ma Dong. Is there still a positive character among the supreme gods? How have I never heard of it? Dirk looked at this scene with a smile. There was no intention of stepping forward to help. This little woman has always been very popular. Look at this dance. It is estimated that the second Liu Yinran appeared. Look at this sturdy girl. Ian Jing couldn't help but be confused. This is a lot of hatred and resentment. To make a weak girl, trekking through mountains and rivers to find revenge. What exactly did Li Yuyang do in the game? Brother Dex smiled bitterly. He didn't do anything. It's just for a trumpet fight. Martial arts surge. The girl opens and closes. Forced Li Yuyang to keep retreating. He was so aggrieved that he meowed. Otherwise, or put his identity as King Ma Dong. Let's show it. Otherwise, he will be hunted down by fans of his own trumpet from time to time. It's upsetting to make him meow. Is not wrong with Li Yuyang's bitter fancy expression. The girl opened her mouth and shouted at the old bird. "You're asshole exhibitionist. Get out of here from the Most High God. Otherwise, the old lady will hunt you down until you are old." Hear this? The old bird was not convinced. The guy next to me was also with me. "Why do you always attack myself?" As soon as this remark came out, Dirk Cat's face was full of helplessness. "People are coming for you. What's the matter with Lao Tzu? I don't have a trumpet again." The girl ignored Li Yuyang's words. The great axe was approved again. Li Yuyang had no choice but to jump up on his legs. Seeing that the other party showed the man's biggest battle, the girl picks up with a sharp, toothed axe. With the sound of chickens flying and eggs beating came out. The giant axe solemnly bullseye. Li Yuyang's face distorted in pain instantly. The amount of blood has also plummeted. But the girl had no intention of letting him go. Axe held high, shouted and slashed at the top of Li Yuyang's head. Suddenly, Li Yuyang raised his head suddenly. His eyes lit up instantly, and his mana burned and activated. "Lao Tzu is not powerful. You're my sick cat." Other people's fans like the plane 3 times in a row. Fans of the old bird are getting up and down to break the eggs. In this Western continent sinkhole, where there are still hostages, I was able to meet my 10-year-old fan. It's not true love. What else can it be? But he didn't wait for Li Yuyang to be happy. His own bird was hit hard. Now his old fans are not easy to use. When you look up, it's a mana burn. But not wait for the petrification effect to fall. The girl pulled away at breakneck speed, and he held the great axe in front of him. This is obviously a preparation for horseback riding. Also very knowledgeable about the skills of the old birds. Li Yuyang was shrouded in smoke and dust. "Congratulations on your success and me off. I wanted to send you away to do the mission." But now I've changed my mind. Just send the following limit at 30% of the blood volume. But he didn't wait for Li Yuyang to make a move. Guilin suddenly jumped out. What are you doing with me? I just want to fix the map as soon as possible. All mobs are wiped out during the repair process. Old bird, since you're my friend, then surely you can understand me. The voice fell. The ground began to tremble. Li Yuyang looked behind him with a surprised face. Right now, Hua Ling's eyes lit up. Under the momentum of taking care of the strong, don't give the old bird a chance to react at all. The whole area began to crumble and shatter. Dirt Cat hurriedly hugged Yin Jing. Prevent the girl next to you from playing the Supreme God for the first time. It's time to go offline and order takeout. And Li Yuyang and the two also stopped fighting. Amazed at everything in front of him, I saw that the ground under my feet actually flew up, detached from the original terrain, straight to the sky. Look at the magma beneath your feet. The mysterious girl was completely shocked. What the hell is this kid doing with the old bird? Doing a quest can actually change the terrain of the Supreme God. The old lady had never heard of it. Just as the girl stared down in a daze, a crisp voice came from behind him. The girl's body involuntarily went downward. I turned my head and saw that it was the bastard of the old bird who did it. This kid, he meows, is a disciple of teacher Ma Qingchuan. Looking back, the furnace is perfect. Look at the girl who keeps falling. Li Yuyang grinned, embarrassed. I'm a bit busy right now. I will have the opportunity to learn from you again in the future. This time you can honestly go down and eat dirt. Hear this? Girl, remember to grit your teeth. You wait for me. I will never give up. Wherever you flee to, I'll find you. How did this sound so familiar? In this face. Although the other party hid the information. But this is the school. Why is it so similar to Lu Yinran's little girl? But now is not the time to think about these things. Watch as you get farther and farther away from the ground. Deco panicked. We've come to the top of the sinkhole. Why hasn't this stone stopped being repaired? Shouldn't the terrain be restored to its original appearance? We're going to be taken to heaven by him. Don't panic. The place we are is not a rock. Ian stared silently down. He said lightly that this was a meteorite. The 2-kilometer deep sinkhole was smashed by him. The little angel girl was also brought by him. I saw it all in memory videos. Right now, meteorites are still climbing. The ground below has been repaired. Countless earth and rocks rolled in towards the sinkhole. It's getting more and more interesting. The cat witnessed everything with excitement. I always feel like my gang is pushing the supreme high. The development of the plot of God. And there are unprecedented ones. A fusion of NPC and player. It's so exciting. I don't know what happened to the third bad god. Can it withstand Lao Tzu's crossbow arrows? With the meteorite rising into the air, the fire spirit also manifested its true form. The huge body is like Optimus Prime, handle next to the sky. I only heard a hoarse voice slowly sounding the old bird. We'll meet again. There is a legend that has always been circulating on this continent. The sky above us. There are secrets that no one knows. When Li Yuyang flew into the sky on a meteorite, the orchards are no longer converging. There was a fierce glint in his eyes. It's like melting the whole earth. The power is even greater than that of the gods. After a while, the hills were all around. There is still the shadow of a sinkhole. See this scene? Yi Jing closed her mouth in surprise. What the hell is that little thing coming from? How is it so strong? He's an NPC with the power of a god. It is only natural to be able to do this. Compared to these, dirt cats are more concerned about their means of transportation. This mount is released in the country. If you don't rush to V, you can't buy it at all. So you are flying according to the established orbit. As one of the first visitors, your names will be on track. This how to get a cat is even more confusing. Could it be that there is an end point of this meteorite in the sky? Look up at the sky. Einjing's memory grew clearer and clearer. Many fragments reappeared in his mind. Suddenly, Einjing raised her hand, pointed sharply ahead. I saw a tutoring in the sky. It's getting closer and closer. This meteorite is likely to be part of him. Hear this? Li Yuyang laughed. It's the same as the strategy one saw in my previous life. It seems that the plot is going right. But Dirk Cat was suddenly excited. God meows the sky counseling. Isn't that an empty island? Actually, the empty island. The setting has been around for a long time. Senior Jaime should know it. Rubber is insulating. Due to the distance is too far. Dirk Cats don't see the full picture of counseling. Hence his appearance on tutoring. Still very interested. Right now. Jing quietly put her hand on the ground under her feet. I could feel his fear and anxiety. So many years have passed. He had always been alone, although knowing that this is just a game setting. But I still can't help but grieve. Looking at the tears in the corners of Jing's eyes. Li Yuyang stepped forward and comforted him, relieved. His grief will come to an end with us. You done your part too. Isn't it finished? Li Yuyang. The kindest smile ever. Okay, cheer up. That's the beauty of immersive gaming. I'll be with you often in the future. Just when the three of you and I are known. Inside a hospital, Lu Yanran quickly pushed open the door of the ward, screaming that you're sneaking out of the room again. Did you run out to surf the internet? I didn't tell you. Are you going to have surgery today? Without waiting for Lu Yanran to continue speaking, the girl on the hospital bed explained. I'm just going to take care of something. And soon back. It won't delay business. But how could Lu Yanran listen to these excuses? Start chattering in a mode of discipline. The girl had to tilt her head to the side. Out of sight, out of mind. Half an hour passed. Lu Yanran finally stopped. I'm not against you playing the game, but this surgery is too important for you. Only the surgery was successful. You'll be back on campus. Live the life of a normal person. The girl didn't turn her head. I just replied lightly, I don't want to go to school. This completely angered Lu Yanran. You little girl's wings are stiff. I didn't even dare to listen to my sister's words. But the girl sprinkled on the hospital bed. The surgery was too painful. I'm not going to do it. Hear this? Lu Yanran immediately smiled. This is the last operation. As long as you are cured, you don't have to come to the hospital again. But the girl still didn't care, she just didn't do it. Lu Yanran lost her patience in an instant. Today, this surgery, you have to do it. If you don't do it, you have to do it. Don't force the old lady to do it. Just when Lu Yanran wanted to get started, the girl suddenly shouted only in the Most High God. I can see everything. That's where I want to be the most. You leave me alone. I can live well without eyes. Lu Yanran was stunned. He knew that his attitude just now was too strong. Xian, others' tone softened. As long as you can do this surgery today, my sister will promise you a wish. Sister Shui said slowly, I want to see King Ma Dong. It's that professional player, Ma Dongwang. At this time, Lu Yanran was completely stunned. What does that mean? People are busy. How is it possible to say that you will see you? Can you change it? Unexpectedly, my sister pointed and looked at Lu Yanran. I don't blink my eyes. Don't think I don't know anything, because I can't see it. You just some time ago, a fan meeting was organized. King Ma Dong also went to participate in person. You're also the president of the Maggio Union. The old bottom was exposed. Lu Yanran hurriedly waved her hand. You may have misunderstood. I'm just a fan of him. The amount of flushing is only for netizens who have met. We don't know each other that well. Kilometers in the air. The silence was broken by a loud bird song. Cheat's hubbybird is 1.8 meters long. It is the most common small gadao in the sky. The Dirk Cat raised its hand, and it was an arrow. But look at the dense flock of birds overhead. The two couldn't help but leave a cold sweat. It has to be held. Hold on to the empty island and we'll win. But they didn't wait for the two to react. A small quack rushed towards Jing. At this critical juncture, the last to come first, directly wrapped around Xiao Quack's neck. Without waiting for Xiao Quack to struggle and resist, a figure leaped from behind. Grievances flashed. Little Quack split in two in an instant, turned into slag, and scattered in the air. In front of me, no one can hurt Einjing. I'm talking about inside the ward. The girl smiled. I just wanted to see her. I've watched every one of her games. Last time I had a fan meeting, I was having surgery. That's why I couldn't go. Didn't wait for Li Yuyang to speak. The girl pleaded with her sister again. If only I could see him. Maybe you'll have the courage to do that surgery. The sky was calm again. After approaching the empty island, the flock of birds dispersed quietly. Look, that's what I'm talking about, the continent of the sky. Follow Einjing's fingers. Li Yuyang also showed a smile. This is the last refuge of the angels. It is also the starting point of a new chapter in Li Yuyang's life. Our worst fears came true. Ma Dongwang's true identity was revealed by others on the spot. This embarrassing scene can be cut out. Large flat with sea view. Congratulations on coming to Sky Island. The trio finally set foot on this magical land. Ian actually had something to deal with in reality, so we have to go offline now. Maybe I won't have time to play again until next week. But the moment they set foot on the empty island, the respawn point has already been refreshed. The next login can be teleported directly here. Case. Li Yuyang is also ready to take a break offline. Only Deekmao can't resist curiosity. Flow down alone. Right now. A voice invitation popped up. As soon as I answered, it turned out to be Li Yuyang's voice. Hello. King Ma Dong is now Li Yuyang's claws. Quickly switched the phone mode, and the voice changer was turned on. Find me something. Sorry to interrupt. There's something going on over there for your fans. Please deal with it. If you have the time, can you meet me in the evening? Hear this. Li Yuyang hung up the phone with a vague thanks. He just realized Li Yuyang's tone sounded very depressed just now. Could it be that something happened to the fan club over there? Just when Li Yuyang was thinking, Einjing and Dirk stared at him with blood on their faces. I didn't expect that. Our Ma Wangma also has female iron fans. Night falls. Silent street corners. Lu Yanren waited nervously beside the car. Suddenly, he saw the familiar figure. It is the professional player Ma Dongwang. The two sat in the car together. Li Yuyang was the first to ask, "Is there anything you have to do with me?" Lu Yanren was silent for a moment. He said his request in a hurry. "Can you help my sister him? He's also a fan of yours." Speaking of which, Lu Yanren lowered her head. "I haven't said anything about my family. In fact, he is the youngest child in my family. His name is Lu Xiang. He has not been in good health since he was a child, and the personality is a bit straight. So how do you want me to help him?" After speaking, Li Yuyang glanced at Lu Yanren beside him. In the previous life, although he did it for several years, he licked the dog. But I didn't know he had a sister. Lu Xiang is about to undergo surgery soon. This surgery was very important to him. But he resisted. "I don't have to see you to be in the operating room." Now Li Yuyang is fine. Is this the power of idols? Always looked at Lu Yanren's blushing face. Li Yuyang couldn't bear to refuse. I simply lowered my head and thought about it. Looking at Ma Dongwang, he was silent. Lu Yanren hurriedly explained, "If it is inconvenient for you." Just because I didn't say it, and Lu Yanren waved her hand. "I didn't mean that the fans would invite you. Maybe you don't treat your fans as a burden." "I agree. If we meet him, I can give him the courage to operate. I don't mind going to the hospital in person. Send me the address and time." Hear the words of King Ma Dong. Lu Yanren was stunned for a moment. Suddenly, the eye sockets became moist. "Thank you so much. You are indeed the most popular blogger. I'll be sure to watch your video 3 times in the future." Early the next morning, Li Yuyang came to the door of the hospital as promised. At this moment, he had mixed feelings in his heart. In this life, he saw a different side of Lu Yanren. Be strong and resolute. Stick with something. and the piece of the ball in the previous life. He couldn't get in touch at all, although I am very grateful to him for helping to manage the fan club. But Li Yuyang still can't forget it. There are no days left for the pants that have been pitted. Enter the inside of the hospital. Lu Yanran asked Li Yuyang to wait outside first. He went into the hospital room and called his sister out. And Li Yuyang just nodded lightly. Didn't say much. Stroll through the corridors of the hospital. Li Yuyang thought about the scene of the meeting to be met. If only it was to coax a child. It shouldn't be that hard. When you get caught up in thinking, a little girl ran down the stairs, smashed straight at Li Yuyang. With a crisp sound came. Li Yuyang fell on his back after being smashed. The hat and mask all fell to the ground. Are you all right, kids? I didn't hurt it. The little girl looked up with a smirk. He kept apologizing. I'm sorry. I'm blind. I didn't notice that I fell. But he didn't wait for him to finish, only to realize the man in front of him. The voice is the same as that of the big anchor bird. He couldn't see, but his sense of hearing was very sensitive. Why are you here? Is it because of what happened last time? Specifically came offline to take revenge on me. Speak. The little girl didn't hesitate to punch her. Good guy, this little girl is very ruthless. Li Yuyang hurriedly said. Head dodge takes the opportunity to pick up the mask on the ground. Leave the moment when Yanran returns. Put the mask on his face. Lu Xiang, what are you doing? Didn't wait for Li Yuyang to speak. The little girl turned to her sister and yelled. This man is an old bird. It is the greatest enemy of King Ma Dong. Hear this. Li Yuyang's cold sweat flowed. But Lu Yanran didn't care. Instead, he yelled at his sister, why did you leave alone? The nurses and doctors on the ward were going crazy. The little girl was also frightened, stammered, and speechless. Right now, King Ma Dong tried to stand up. Don't blame him. I can understand how anxious I am to see my idol. And when he fell down the stairs, I caught him just in time. It didn't cause a catastrophe. Just pay attention next time. The mask comes with a voice changer. So Li Yuyang's voice now. It was none other than that of King Ma Dong. Hear this tone? The little girl froze in place. I completely forgot what I just did. Lord Ma Dongwang, is that you? Lu Yanran also smiled and gave an affirmative answer. What my sister promised you has been done. In front of you is the professional player, Ma Dongwang. Hear my sister's words. The little girl was even more excited. Wasn't I dreaming? Are you really King Ma Dong? Li Yuyang smiled and said yes. I am the king of Ma Dong. If it is fake, replace the king of Ma Dong with a string of 5. I heard you're going to have surgery. I'm here to cheer you up. As a fan of mine, I'm sure you'll be able to overcome it. Hear this. The little girl's cheeks flushed with excitement. The performance in the arena is so handsome. Can I get you an autograph? Absolutely. Li Yuyang looked at 4, chatting with the little girl with a calm face. In fact, this kid was panicked. It's too dangerous if you move a little slower just now. Lao Tzu meowed and stabbed on the spot. What makes the king of Ma Dong, who has not been out for a long time? It comes up with a season of snail launches. And the target of the attack turned out to be Lu Yanran's sister. Can't he even shoot with a kitchen knife? After a frightening moment in the corridor, Li Yuyang came to the ward smoothly. Lu Xiang sat on the bed, excitedly expressed his worship of King Ma Dong. I follow every game of yours. Even if you can't watch it in the game, I'll listen to it in front of the TV, especially when you're dancing in an 8-minute string. It's really handsome. In my mind, you're the best player on the planet. Look at the little girl dancing with her hands. Li Yuyang couldn't help but sigh. I caught up with Lu Yanran in my previous life. This girl is her sister-in-law. Seeing that the atmosphere is almost there, Lu Yanran hurriedly stepped forward to persuade. I've also invited your idol. You can ask the hospital to arrange surgery. Lu Sun said, who was still extremely excited a moment ago. The next second, he actually restrained his smile. See this scene? Lu Yanran was instantly shocked by your kid. Don't tell me to go back. I know how hard it took me to put Ma Dongwang. Please. Your sister's old face has made you lose everything. You have to do it today. If you don't do it, you have to do it. Watch the sisters change their faces seamlessly. Li Yuyang's embarrassed tears were motionless in place, not daring to move. Hurry up and say what else you want. Who expected Lu Xiang to have a small mouth? Whispered. How can I be sure that he is King Madong? And it's not the first time you've lied to me. As soon as this remark came out, Lu Yanran finally couldn't bear it anymore. Go up and pinch Lu Xiang's face, you little girl. Dare to doubt your sister. Just when the sisters needed together. Li Yuyang stepped forward with a smile, then you say, how should I prove that I am the king of Madong? Lu Xiang rubbed his red and swollen face. Excitedly spit out 3 words to criticize the fart. I'm going to go head-to-head with you. As long as you can. If you win me, you will naturally be King Madong. Now Lu Yanran completely understood. It turns out that your purpose is this. Don't ink. I wouldn't agree. Don't even think about getting out of the ward if you say anything today. But Li Yuyang took it seriously. Judging from Lu Xiang's previous operation, he's really good at PK. And keen on it. Case. Why not give him a chance to perform? The corners of Li Yuyang's mouth threatened what's so difficult about this. I can promise you that. But you have to promise me. As long as I win, you're going to have surgery all the time. And there's exactly the right place around here. Luo Yu opened the door with a surprised face. I saw the king of horses. Appeared at the door of his house with a pair of sisters. Coach to borrow your game pod to play. Stay until you enter the room. The wife greeted the 3 of them with a smile on her face. I'll take you to take a sip of tea and take a break. Then let your coach take you to the training room. Not for a while. Lu Xiang's excited shouts came from the training room. He touched the latest game pod. I can't put it down. Is this the sister of the president of the Horse King Guild? Are you sure he's going to have surgery? How does it look so active? But this time is also a good opportunity to get the word out. Professional player Ma Dongwang. For the younger sister of her own fans. Waste a lot of training time playing along. This society is directly tall. But Li Yuyang didn't want to do this. I think he's very talented. Bring him this time. It's not just about fulfilling a wish. I hope you will seriously consider it. After he healed his eyes, can he be recruited into the academy team? The equipment is installed. Link successful. Welcome to the Most High God. After the vast white light, Lu Xiang and the 2 came to the PK battlefield. The nerve sensing system used by the Supreme God. Let Lu's sunset be seen without glasses. He burst into tears with excitement. This moment has been waited too long. Can have a face-to-face heads-up with King Madong. It's something he's been thinking about for a long time. Lu Yanran and the coach also played the screen outside. Always observe the information on the battlefield. King Madong did not plan to release the water this time. Since it's going to be fought, let's have a good time. Come on. Let me see your true strength. The voice fell. Lu Xiang instantly entered the state. Carrying the giant company rushed up directly. Great power. Even the ground began to tremble. The lights are flashing. King Ma Dong leaned over to dodge. But before he could get up and fight back, the scythe was struck down again at great speed. This scene stunned Luo Yu too. This girl is really talented. The speed and timing of attacks are well controlled. Facing Lu Sunset's stormy attack, King Ma Dong did not choose to carry it hard. It's about dodging. But what he didn't expect was that, with their own degree of flexibility, it's stressful. This little guy seems to be more talented than his sister. It's unbearable. I could have been faster. As soon as the words fell, in the surprised gaze of King Ma Dong, the distance is reduced to countless afterimages. Surrounded from all directions. In an instant, the exposed palace flooded King Ma Dong. But what surprised Lu Xiang was, Dang Dang didn't even take advantage of that blow. And even his own weapons are costly. Tear stains were produced. What a powerful attack. I saw that King Ma Dong showed before. The rain does not flow into cold sweat. That's a lot of people. Pros have nightmares. The little girl had a hard time the rest of the day, although it was tragically shocked. But Li Yuyang did not choose to retreat. Still maintains a high-intensity and high-frequency attack. Look at this stance. It's about fighting to the end. Lord Ma, please show your true strength. Don't think I'm a child and look down on me. That's all for that. King Ma Dong has a reason not to fight back. Please make a loud beep between classes. The electric light also began to wander in his arms. I announced that I will enter the King of Horses time from now on. As a pro, or the super testicles that used to dance in a string, hitting a little girl isn't just a matter of minutes. Push under your feet. The flame does not activate the tornado effect of the snail. In an instant, the sky was full of dust. Flames. Li Yuyang suddenly lost his center of gravity, sucked into the air by a tornado. Suddenly, there was a clicking sound coming from the wall. Li Yuyang actually used dust to block his vision. Went around behind King Ma Dong. The giant company slashed down. It's time to decide the winner and loser. King Ma Dong suddenly turned around. In Li Yuyang's frightened gaze, raise your right fist and slam it into the ground. In an instant, there were explosions. Even the hard ground began to crumble. Lu had no choice but to stop the attack, stepping on flying stones. Dodged Ma Dongwang's ferocious uppercut. Immediately after that, the special move is activated. Li Yuyang filled up his speed advantage. Draw countless flying bodies, standing with Ma Dongwang. And this process made Li Yuyang enjoy it very much. It's been a long time since I've stood so happy. It's time for the two to distance themselves. Li Yuyang half-squatted on the ground. Gasping for air, you're only 15 years old. It's not easy to do that. Hear your idol compliment. Li Yuyang smiled. Actually, I've long studied your fighting style, and I feel like I can do better. Right now. Suddenly, his vision began to blur. It was as if he was covered with a layer of frost. It became white. Feel the change in front of you. Li Yuyang was stunned. In order not to let King Ma Dong notice the abnormality, he quickly rubbed his eyes. But the trembling body betrayed him. Not only Li Yuyang found one. Even the coach off the field froze in place. Inside the game pod, Li Yuyang's body was already covered with sweat. Body sensing system. My physical condition. It can directly affect the gameplay in the game. Look at the data anomaly on the panel. The coach did not dare to delay. The former Manhwa wanted to stop the game, but something happened to him. I saw Li Yuyang in the picture slowly speaking to his sister. I know you can see it. Don't open the game pod. I don't want to log out now. Just let me finish this one. I'll listen to you in everything. This fighting attitude made Li Yuyang stunned. Is this a hard-working genius? But Lu Yanran, who was outside the court, was still not at ease. If the data of the body is out of range, he was still ready to force open the game pod. But Li Yuyang is determined to continue the game this time. Sister, I know you're trying to heal me. Done a lot of bad things. And playing Zigishin is also just to make money. Now no, I'm ready to give up. I know my illness isn't that simple. As soon as this remark came out, Lu Yanran was instantly anxious. Tears began to accumulate in his eyes. Suddenly, King Ma Dong interrupted the sisters' conversation. Rest assured, I'm not going to let you get fined. Not only is Lu's sunset cold, even Lu Yanran was stunned. The relationship between himself and the King of Horses. When was it so good? Don't get me wrong. I'm just looking for a reliable teammate. Didn't wait for Li Yuyang to come back to his senses. Ma Dongwang grabbed the ground with one hand. Don't talk nonsense. Let's get this game through to the end. The palm of the hand is slammed hard. He pulled out a large stone, smashed at Lu's sunset. Li Yuyang's spirit is moving. Soon returned to combat mode. But the stones in front of him suddenly began to rage. King Ma Dong's fist pierces the boulder. Directly press Li Yuyang on. Listen carefully on the wall. I'm going to build the strongest team. Join me in the world. And you're one of my favorite teammates. So live well. Li Yuyang smiled kindly and continued to encourage. It's a pity for you and me in the future. The little girl almost burst into tears when she said this. Can I really do it? After Li Yuyang nodded, Li Yuyang couldn't hold back any longer. Tears fell down her cheeks. But it's not like you're tricking me into attacking. Then let's have a good time next time. Li Yuyang didn't understand until now. Why did Lu Yinran behave so contradictory in her previous life? And he dumped himself at the time. Also at this point in time, after his sister's surgery, he appeared in great pain. That's not what it means. Li Yuyang's surgery. In fact, it did not succeed in the previous life. But this life is different. As long as there is me, King Ma Dong, anything is possible. King Ma Dong also had such a thunder moment. Actually didn't admit that he had forgiven Lu Yinran. After a battle with an idol, Lu's condition was even more serious. I can no longer find a suitable bone marrow transplant. He might. It's really about to miss the best time for treatment. The next day, within 1 month, Lu Hong also rushed over, looking at the panting brother. Lu Yinran sighed. If you agreed to the boss's request, maybe Li Yuyang would have accepted it a long time ago. Hear this. Lu Hong was furious. That old man was not worthy of you at all. Even if it's to save my sister. There's no need to put yourself on it. That said, but Lu Yinran's eyes were dim. Still, it's that I can't accept that my sister may leave me. Thinking about what my sister said in the Most High God, Lu Yinran lowered her head helplessly. Do you really have to give up? Suddenly, a familiar voice sounded beside him. You look frustrated. Lu Yinran immediately stood up from her seat, but he didn't wait for him to speak. Li Yuyang continued. I am here this time. It's to tell you the good news. Lu Yinran couldn't believe her ears. There is no good news in this situation. Right now, the phone rang suddenly. Pick it up and listen to it. It turned out to be a member of the Machiao trade union. Hello, President. I heard about your sister. It was Madong Wong who told us. And I happen to be the Asian Marrow, member of donor associations. Yesterday, after I received the message, all union members have been mobilized. Match your sister with the right bone marrow. Find the right person for the job today. Lu Yinran was speechless. So, please come on, President. Don't forget why you haven't killed the old bird yet. Suddenly heard such exciting news. Lu Yinran said thank you vigorously. The two chatted for a while. The other party hung up the phone. He knows. These are the men in front of them who are behind them. But Lu Yinran was a little embarrassed. I don't know how to speak. Don't get me wrong. I just think your sister's talent is just too good. There are also hospitalization fees and surgery fees. I've already paid it in advance. You don't have to take any risks because of that. Lu Yinran was stunned for a moment. Suddenly looked up like King Ma Dong. Why? Why are you doing so much for us? I'm very clear. Because of your sister's talent. And you're all my fans. It's as simple as that. Maybe you don't know. Li Yuyang's eyes became serious. There is no one in the country who is my opponent anymore. I have to gather people. The Lao International Competition was entered. And your sister is one of my choices. Didn't wait for Li Yuyang to finish speaking. Lu Yinran suddenly hid her face and cried. Thank you so much. Suddenly unload the burden. Lu Yinran's tears could no longer be stopped. See this scene? Li Yuyang didn't stay any longer. We'll talk about that later. Just walked to the gate of the hospital. Suddenly, there was the sound of hurried footsteps behind him. After seeing that it was Lu Hong, Li Yuyang turned his head and said, I don't know who you're working for. It's not clear how much business you have. But I hope you don't do anything illegal anymore. Hear the words of King Ma Dong. Lu Hong was silent for a moment, suddenly bent down solemnly to the voice. This move made Li Yuyang stunned. There's no need. In your last life, you were a money lender. But that's fine. Although Li Yuyang does not have the old heart. But it is possible to bring these acquaintances back. It feels good too. But Lu Yanran, who is so fragile. It's the first time I've seen it, and I have to say, Li Yuyang was still a little distressed in his heart. Li Yuyang shook his head violently. Women will only affect the speed at which Lao Tzu draws the knife. I am the man who will conquer the Most High God. Old birds fight by grinding. As long as the boss has a health bar, you can get by without armor. It's really not good. Trumpet comes and takes a step out of the flame. Kill the invincible shrimp. What a poem. A huge meteorite fell from the sky, straight to Sky Island. After breaking through the fence of the empty island, the system prompt also popped up. Welcome to Castle in the Sky. This is 2 kilometers above the ground. It's also 3 exchanges. The last stop of God's hidden mission. Li Yuyang looked at the majestic palace with a smile on his face. I really miss this place. Without waiting for him to continue to sigh, suddenly, a girl's voice came from behind him. Li Yuyang, I'm here. Turn your head to look. It was Xiaoxian 11 that the two successfully converged. Enter the palace together. Don't know about dirt cats either. Where did the kid go? Look at the dilapidated scene inside the passage. Li Yuyang actually remembered Tada's experience back then. But here it is certainly better than the brave. Jita is much more difficult. The two of them chatted as they walked deeper into the palace. Suddenly, Einjing seemed to sense one. I felt something else ahead of me. But I looked at it with Einjing's gaze. No monsters were found. The secluded passage was dark, though. But quietly. There is no danger at all. But I felt the breath in the depths of the passage. Einjing actually left a cold sweat. Not for a while. The claws of a withered beast protrude from the passage. An A-class undead warrior. Attribute unknown. Our luck is too bad. You can meet A-class guys if you walk anywhere. And this little quack didn't wait for Li Yuyang to finish speaking. Wang Ling's warriors had already roared and rushed up. The next second, this made the void come in. Hit the undead warrior directly. Great power. It actually froze through the armor of an A-class monster. Li Yang watched the drama in the direction where the envoy came. It was the smiling dirt cat. There's no reward for killing this guy. These days when you are away, I've killed several of them. As he spoke, the dirt cat threw down the rope. Li Yuyang hurriedly caught the rope and climbed up. Right now, Wang Ling has a lot of knowledge as a warrior. Roared at Li Yuyang. Look at this scene. Li Yuyang just wanted to come down and solve the trouble. Dirk suddenly pulled out a strange bottle of liquid. Pounce on the undead warriors. The liquid of this year makes the undead warrior lose the ability to climb. Can only be incompetent under the wall and go crazy with dirt cats. What is this? How long it will be effective? Dirk turned his head and said he didn't know. Yuyang immediately understood. Switch small gear on your feet. The flame does not start. The raging flames engulf the undead warrior in an instant. Poor this A-class guy, an unadult-like person who was tortured by a pair of good friends. The two ran away after the fight, not to mention how cool he was aiming. Only Ian Jing was left with a helpless face. Sure enough, the man is a girl. But these guys aren't strictly speaking monsters. Killing doesn't give experience or props. It's called a bad choice in Sky. The three of them chatted and walked. Suddenly, some strange fruits were found on the stone wall. The seed is like an apple. The red orange ones look exceptionally delicious. At Ian's urging impatiently, Li Yuyang picked one and gave it to him. Just got the fruit. Ein Jing hurriedly took a bite. But Li Yuyang suddenly reminded that it was okay to chew. But don't swallow it. Especially seeds. Because this thing is dead. Spirit warriors are essentially the same. Are all part of the Isle of Sky. It's also part of the ending. As soon as this remark came out, The fruit in Ian's mouth instantly stopped smelling. The good guy ate an A-class monster through the old lady. Frolic for a while. Dirt Cat is talking about the next step. Where do we go from here? Don't wander around the castle. Yu Yuyang grinned. I was about to explain. Suddenly, there was a strange feeling behind him. It was Wang Lin's warriors who caught up. I saw this charcoal grill guy lying on the ground, with a rough breath, a face full of secrets. Li Yuyang took out his twin branches and complained, just about to enter combat mode. But the scene in front of me. But he had to stop. Wang Ling's warrior got up slowly. A strange smile came out of his mouth. Wink. Black dust permeated his body. This little quack. He actually put his hands on his face. In the shocked gaze of Li Yuyang and Dirt Cat, he tore his body apart with his own hands. A slender figure was revealed. Meow is to drink a meal of left-handed. It also does not achieve this weight loss effect. Look at the weird, smiling faces in the dark. Li Yuyang grinned. I didn't expect this guy to show up so soon. Then came the battle. If you want to fight, if you are an old bird, you have experienced 100 battles. The front is tough and a plus-level monster. It's also a bit of offense. Just now, this kid is only an A-class. Taking off the vest directly becomes a plus. No one can stand this. Li Yuyang smiled bitterly and looked ahead. I kept thinking about what to do. And the Dirt Cat was ready for battle. In fact, if there were only two people, the Dirt Cat and the old bird, it's really possible to have a relationship with this A. The guy who added to the level broke his wrist. The key is that Ian is still by his side. Just when Li Yuyang was thinking, the monster suddenly laughed weirdly, with a smiling face writhing. His head was turned 360 degrees. This scene made Jing almost leave. But the next second, the monster has rushed up, went straight to Li Yuyang. Look at the clown mask that is getting closer and closer. Li Yuyang raised his grievances and was about to move forward. Unexpectedly, the other party's target was not him at all. Instead, one turned sideways towards Jing. At this critical moment, Dirt Cat shot, holding Jing to dodge the monster's sneak attack. Turning his head again, the clown mask unexpectedly opened his eyes. This scene is too weird. Deke Mao didn't say a word. Dozens of golden eggs were thrown directly. Bombs covered in green rang off at the monster's feet. But it didn't have the slightest effect. Does this guy have purifying properties? Why the slowdown effect doesn't work for him? It's not just that. This particular monster. There are also reductions. The ability to change the terrain skill for half of the damage. And Ma Dongwang's main damage skill. It's earthquakes and whirlpools. It's like a natural enemy. Thinking about it, the monster attacked again. The ground suddenly exploded. Li Yuyang quickly retreated. Until a better way is found. I can only take Jing with me. Withdraw first. Li Yuyang shouted and overtook the Dirt Cat. Hurry up and follow me when I hear this. Dirk was stunned for a moment. Could it be that this kid has found a way to escape the labyrinth? The best option to launch. In Li Yuyang's eyes, a navigation arrow appears. Lead him to turn left at the next intersection. This is the route out of the labyrinth. Actually, this is also due to inside the game pod, a bug in the second generation helmet worn. As long as the GPS function is turned on, unleash this skill of the Dark Lord again. You can easily cope with various maze environments, with the route arrows constantly guided. The three of them from Yuyang are also getting closer and closer to the exit. Right now, I'm pointed ahead, said hurriedly in my memory. There's a fan ahead, a hidden door that only angels can open. With that, he broke free from Decameo's arms, trotting his hands against the wall for a moment. The stones began to crumble. An exit is about to appear, but Li Yuyang looked at the passage in the distance. I couldn't help but grit my teeth. I'm afraid it's too late. Sure enough, the monster suddenly came to them with joy and sorrow. That's outrageous. Dirk reacted. The first time you raise your hand, you will attack. But the claws of monsters are faster. The latter hit the dirt cat's shot. This is the end of the calf. The three of them were forced into a corner. The old bird hurried to find a way. Otherwise, just fight hard. But he didn't wait for the old bird to answer. The monster slammed into the wall. With a wave of his hand, he smashed the gravel into the smoke mirror. Dirk had no choice but to hold the smoke goggles and retreat again. The monster had no intention of letting him go. The whole person wielded a strong shot to pursue. But he looked down on the old bird too much. Li Yuyang was on the side of the monster. Grievances swept out. The powerful force swept the monster out. The group of AIs he meows is too difficult to deal with. It will be actively locked. What the hell is the angel going to do next? There were no other bigwigs coming to the rescue this time. Look at the already vanished dirt cat and Ian. Jing Li Yuyang licked his tongue suddenly. Since there is no way to get rid of him, then find a way to kill him. You forced me to do this. For so long. Li Yuyang has actually been taking advantage of it. Strategies from previous lives to clear dungeons. I can use my skills to meow with him. It's brute force. Not to mention, this is still a monster that restrains Ma Dongwang's skills. Li Yuyang couldn't help but get nervous. And the monster is also interested in him at the moment. Between the two, Li Yuyang suddenly laughed. Lao Tzu is the tuba of the old bird Ma Dong King. Li Yuyang never thought of it in his life. There will be monsters altogether. Restrain King Ma Dong's skills. That's what is happening now. The old bird and the monster are trapped on the same side. And Dirt Cat and Ian are on the other side of the grab. Now that there is no drag oil, Li Yuyang excitedly shouted that I was familiar with single-handedness. Let's get started now. The monster grinned suddenly. The next second, his body suddenly became on fire. The whole person climbed the wall like a gecko, straight towards Ian Jing, but not waiting for him to succeed. Li Yuyang's 42-yard Bigfoot has already kicked up. My elementary school classmates in front of me. You really look down on Lao Tzu's speed. Lao Tzu has put all his attributes on agility. The monster that was kicked against the wall by Bigfoot was stunned for a moment. The trial followed by a backhand was a blow, but Li Yuyang had already prepared. Suddenly pull away, followed by repeated horizontal jumps up and down, left and right. Actually dodged all the monster's attacks. And the monster has lost patience. To go up is to kick it. The force shattered the entire ground. See this scene? Dirt Cat couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. Follow the pace of these two people. He couldn't get his hands on it at all. Not to mention the remote assistance in the dusty room. Li Yuyang disappeared in place. Right now, the smell of blood suddenly filled the air. The next second, the thick blood will directly envelop the monster inside. Suddenly, there was a tingling pain in the thigh. Li Yuyang came out of the crack in the wall at some point. Stunned, he stuck the morning blade into the monster's body. The monster wailed in pain. But the bloodshed has been punished. Li Yuyang sneered and wanted to continue to mend the knife. The monster suddenly jumped to its feet with excitement. The speed of picking it up made Li Yuyang's eyes flutter. Just for a moment, the monster had come behind him. Oh no, this kid is going to run away. But even if Li Yuyang is full of firepower, still unable to catch up with a monster that struggled to escape. After turning a corner, Li Yuyang couldn't see the monster anymore. I saw a gap in the wall that was more than one person high. That's probably where the monster escaped. Wait until Li Yuyang looks down. There was a bottomless pit in the ground. This is an A-grade abyssal patio. Attribute unknown. Dirt Cat also rushed over at this moment. He hurriedly reminded Li Yuyang not to act rashly. Otherwise, you will likely be ambushed. As soon as the words fell, Li Yuyang only felt a tremor under his feet. That sixth man actually launched a sneak attack. The stone under Li Yuyang's feet shattered instantly, and his whole body was also hung into the deep well. This kid he meows actually has an IQ. Don't talk about martial arts, let him play, clearly. There is no obstacle from Li Yuyang. The six got up and rushed towards Einjin, but he didn't wait for him to get close to the two. But the arm was suddenly wrapped in chains. It is the spider silk used by Li Yuyang. Your uncle's. Don't think that's going to get rid of me. Powerful inertia. Let Li Yuyang and the monster be transferred to the deep well together. And in the mountain well, it was as if strange creatures were wriggling. Wait until you can see each other clearly. Li Yuyang felt a lot of harm in his heart. All this thing needs to do is touch its prey. The application will be closed. At that time, even he will have to be trapped to death by Hohu. Gotta find a way to get out of here. Li Yuyang pressed his hands and feet against the wall. Attempt to stop the body using the Pythagorean force. At the moment when contact was about to be made, Li Yuyang pointed out that the delisting was too risky. Li Jiji is only one step away. Right now. He looked up. I saw that the monster on the other side was like him, hanging on the wall and not daring to move. In the last second, you have to fight the opponent to the death. It's so embarrassing in the dark well. Opening face to face. Whoever is small is embarrassed. One is a legendary player who dominates the supreme gods. One is the supreme overlord of Sky City. In the face of this dark application, the two actually chose to admit it at the same time. After a moment of silent staring, they decisively made a temporary truce. Without saying a word, he crawled towards the exit of the patio. Wait until the two of them are out of danger. Old birds and monsters are short-sighted. A tacit understanding to start the battle. The sound of crackling resounded throughout the audience. The monster climbed onto the wall again. He even opened his mouth and spit out human words. I'll admit you're strong, but you're still a little bit of a joke compared to me. As soon as the words fell, the monster screamed and screamed. Reach out and pluck the fruit next to it. Let me show you what I'm really capable of. The monster stuffed their bones in their mouths. Chew wildly. The piercing clicking sound made Li Yuyang also stunned in place. Isn't this the fruit that was given to Ian in the first place? Does it have a special effect on the bus? As if to confirm that the flower of the old bird has eaten the fruit. The monster is like adding a big spoonful of 3 floured eggs and milk chicken. Began to expand like crazy. The whole person seemed to swell in a circle. What's even more terrifying, this old boy's health is actually recovering wildly. Warning moment. Little Quack has returned to its peak. The ferocious inward rush to the sky. A punch came. Stones cracked. Li Yuyang dodged the magazine. Without waiting for him to catch his breath, Little Quack slammed down. Flames and rubble flew in the sky. Yuyang had no choice but to avoid the war. I really didn't expect this guy to keep a hand. There is also no information about the past life. For now, this battle may not be over so simply. If the effect attached to the fruit can be repeated. So all these things around, sooner or later, it will become a monster's power bank. There was a loud bang. The monster waved his hand slightly. When he was countless years old, he smashed at Li Yuyang like a cannonball. The old bird hurriedly used the blade to block. But in the next second, the monster had already caught up. The terrifying hand knife came to Li Yuyang in the blink of an eye. If the opponent is able to recover his HP, then the love blade continues to bleed. It's just a show effect, seeing that the monster is already close. It's almost famous on monsters. Li Yuyang hurriedly turned his head. It was the hand that the dirt cat came out of. Hurry up and find a way to get out. My attacks won't be able to suppress him for long. Hear this? Li Yuyang grinned. Is worthy of being a good friend. The timing of the shot was perfect. Take this opportunity. Li Yuyang jumped up suddenly. The whole person rushed back into the corridor like a phantom. The moment he landed, I found out later. In the blink of an eye, he came behind Li Yuyang. Now it's in trouble. I can't beat it. You can't escape. Li Yuyang yelled at Dirt Cat and Yinjing. You two go first. Leave me alone. After speaking, Li Yuyang looked at the tall monster seriously. Said firmly, I'll go back to you after I've killed him. Hear this? The monster laughed again. Stupid humans. You braggart critics don't even make drafts. With your current strength, you are no match for me at all. Li Yuyang sneered. Flat properties and skill. Lao Tzu is indeed not your opponent. But Lao Tzu is very alive. Trumpet scrapped. The large attack power is not enough. The only blood loss effect was also eaten by the other party. Hex deck was resolved. Li Yuyang completely fell into passivity. Just when little Gada's arrogance is getting weird, Li Yuyang found a trace of abnormality. Ian's sword seemed to be aware of it too.